Okay. Oh. Alright. Care of yourself. I'm here. I'm here. Let me see. Oh yeah, I might as well. Why not? Alright. I'm gonna start with something silly. Especially since no one's here. Let me see. Am I muted? Am I unmuted? Muted? So this has happened. This has happened last night.
Back to being a normal.
What the? Oh yeah, whatever. Okay, let's see what this is.
I can hear.
What the hell this mess? Wick. It's happened like yesterday or something. I've been told that Wick has been playing Defense for Destiny, and I think this sort of content is one of the ways to do it, but we'll see. I think doing this is just a distraction from Destiny's wider problems. We'll see. There's been a whole discussion. Should Destiny be platformed? Should he be allowed? I think this is actually washing his image, doing stuff like that. He's still a okay buddy. He's still a buddy to have on, to have debates with. Cool dude. Kind of thing. And I think that's not a very positive thing. Personally. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm deluded. Maybe I'm deluged.
Read it, but it'll be in my YouTube description. So if you like any of them,
I don't like.
See more of them. That's
I don't want to see any more.
Find them. And one more housekeeping thing before we begin.
Housekeeping
if you want your
thing.
Super chat read on stream.
I don't want.
Between debates.
I don't want to
But
do
we're
any
going with
super
the
chat.
$20 minimum today, okay? If it's off topic, I'll read it, but it'll be a $40 minimum. If you want me
Damn.
to say something off topic, you can.
Damn.
You got to pay for the privilege. Okay?
Wait, can I ask you a quick
Privilege.
question?
Sure.
Is there no way to unmirror your camera in Discord? Why is it mirrored?
Mine or yours or
Mine.
I do it. I do the mirroring through OBS. I just have it flip.
Or no, like my camera is mirrored in OBS. Is there a way to like turn off like mirroring? Or
Oh my god. Hasn't he been doing this for like 10 years? Hello, fake Alec Cal Parker. Noogies for Lucy, thank you. Maybe I'll use this to buy a video game. Should I buy myself a video game? Should Lucy has indulge in a video game purchase? Let me see if I can actually. I don't think I can afford it. I cannot afford it, sorry. She should indulge. Lucy cannot afford it. I've been thinking about getting that new Civilization game.
is it always? Does it just do?
Do you think that having Destiny like this here is taking away from all his scandals and trying to fix his image a bit? Do you think that Wick is trying to repair the Destiny image a bit by doing this? Oh my god, $60! How about that? Now I can definitely afford it. Oh my gosh, thank you. Wow. Well, thank you. Now I can definitely afford it. Holy shit. Now I'm rich. But let me check something because there might be an additional obstacle that might be impossible for me to overcome. And that is, I might have to transfer money to my account before doing anything because Steam just in general does not accept PayPal in Poland right now for some reason. Did you know that? Mixed. Holy crap, $60. Thank you. Yeah, I cannot use it. I cannot use it. Oh well, I guess I'll have to do a transfer to my bank account, but thank you very much. Okay, let's watch some Wix.
Do that automatically.
So do you think so? Do you think that this is just washing his image?
You should be able to go to transform and like
Transform.
Yeah, if you click on the
Transform. Jesus, I thought Steven, he does think show. Oh, I thought I wasn't showing it on the screen. Hasn't he been doing this whole streaming for more than 10 years now, and now he's acting how to demirror my Discord thing?
display you're capturing in the OBS.
Wait, did I say OBS?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do think Wick is sort of trying to make him more appealing.
Discord.
Oh,
Is there
I
a way in
have no
Discord?
idea. I have no idea.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck you.
I don't know how to do that. I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
I think it's only mirrored for you in Discord. That's how it is in Zoom. Oh, wait. Am I on the left or right side of my camera from your perspective?
From my perspective, you are on the right side of your camera.
What the hell is this? This sort of thing should be handled before stream, first of all. And second of all, Destiny should not be invited to stuff like that. Okay? All things considered. I wonder if anybody is gonna hold him to task for his little escapades that I've been hearing about. Things have been not well for Destiny as of late, I hear.
Not stage right, like your right, like on the screen, like on your physical monitor. Am I on the left more
I
or
think
right?
Destiny is one of the few streamers that I've never spoken to, ever. I've never exchanged words with Destiny, ever. Cheating or Marte Richest? I'm referring to the allegations of. I'm referring to the allegation about texting with minors. I feel like Steven is a girl name. Maybe.
Right.
Yeah, on
Jesus
my
Christ.
physical monitor, you're on the right more.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Forget it then. Okay.
What the hell was that?
Okay, we good? We ready
Yep.
to go? Okay, the first topic is...
As an animated Batman movie said once, no, you're anything but good. Okay? You are anything but good. I think it works here pretty well. I think we're good. No, you're anything but good. I feel like they're gonna be debating some bullshit and they're not gonna get into
January 6th was an
what
insurrection.
I'm interested if people are gonna push Destiny on. Namely the texting with minors.
100% led by Trump. Okay, Destiny, what are your initial thoughts? And then we'll just get into it. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Are we
Hold on.
live right now?
We are
Yeah.
live. Yeah.
Do you want?
Who is this Marta Ruelas? Who is this?
Do we want to introduce?
Also,
anybody?
hello, Dax. Why? You're always welcome here. As a fellow
Yeah.
duck content creator.
This is Marte. Marte, tell people who you are, I guess.
I'm Marte Reyes. I'm an extension of somewhat of the Crucible, and also
People are mean, Lucy. You are not mean. Be with God. You think I'm not mean? Fake Kyle Parker. Am I mean? Or am I not mean? Do you feel like I'm not mean? Also like the stream. Press the like button.
I'm a IFBB professional bodybuilder, a blood sport debater, and I love
Oh my god, this introduction alone just made me oh god, I felt such a recoil hearing that. I just want to click off right away. I just have this urge to just click off this whole thing right away. I'm a bodybuilder and a blood sports debater. Ugh. Ouch. That hurts.
talking politics and social issues and relationship dynamics. And you can find me on X as Mighty Marte, and also Instagram as The Real Mighty Mouse, and also YouTube on The Edge. You can find my channel and tune in later. So
Okay.
that's my intro.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I gotcha. I'm here. Okay.
What's happening with what the hell is this?
Wait, and then are these supposed to be 30 minutes each? Is that how you're
Yep.
running this? Or?
Yep. 20 to 30
Jesus.
minutes each. Go ahead.
Okay. I think that Donald Trump had a clear plan to overthrow the U.S. election. I think that he had a clear structure in place to.
Are
do
they
it.
gonna debate January 6th again? The same crap, the same tired crap that has been already beaten to death. Oh my god, really? Is this how we're gonna... No, I'm not gonna say we. Is this how Wig's gonna attempt to clear Destiny's image? Brilliant.
do it? He was basically faking electorate votes across the 7 states.
Lucy, would you hold a position called Secretary of UBI or something? Do you mean Universal Basic Income? Yes. If it meant that people will get Universal Basic Income, then yes.
It's needed. He had a plan to pressure the vice president of the United States to accept the fake electorate votes, and then the goal was to use violence in January 6th in order to pressure lawmakers to accept the fake votes. Obviously, it ended up failing, but I would say that everything points pretty clearly to it being an insurrection. But like the plan is all like pretty open out there and everything else. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Marte. Why is that wrong?
So the reason why it's wrong is because we're not here to argue.
Why are we here again? Why are we talking about January 6th again? What the hell is happening? What is this weak sauce panel? What is this supposed to be? What is this supposed to even... What are we doing here? What is happening? I think there are more pressing things right now. January 6th is so old and it's not even in the news cycle. I have... Like, this is such a pathetic attempt at distracting people from, you know, the things that are actually being talked about right now. Come on. January 6th debate again. Like, I feel like it's cut and done deal. Everybody knows what it was. Everybody knows that it was... There's no defending it. There's no defending January 6th, and only lunatics do. And what's the point of debating lunatics? Honestly. Quite honestly. Bodybuilders that are blood sport debaters. It's just stupid. Nobody... Like, people say that debate is supposed to persuade audiences. Who needs persuading that January 6th was bad? Honestly.
Trump headed an insurrection, meaning like the electors. We're not here to argue the electors at all. So the elector scheme is irrelevant completely. If Trump tried to seat them down, there was no riot. If there would be no riot, there'd be no quote unquote insurrection. So, I mean, so here's the thing though, Destiny's going to try to bog me down with this elector scheme, which is irrelevant and doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical. So going on to my point, I'm not trying to gish gallop here, but his statements are not a direct call to violence. As we've seen, the event was a disorganized protest at best, rather than a coordinated coup. Where's the coordination at? I didn't see a direct call for a riot or violence by Trump.
You can have a non-violent coup, just saying. A coup can be non-violent, so this whole there was no call to violence argument is silly. If I'm gonna react to this, I might as well point out all the silly things said, but whatever.
Where was that at, Destiny?
So you say disorganized protest, but didn't they all go to the Capitol building and then try to break into the Capitol building to circumvent the certification of the election? And didn't they succeed in that? Or did that all just happen accidentally?
So here's the thing, Trump, and I quote, "I demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors," which, by the way, is not even really analogous to this whole point, "who have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically protest." Where's the call for violence there?
Why? Why does there need to be a call for violence? This is silly, okay.
So that's actually the perfect encapsulation of the entire election. When he says Congress should only seat the lawfully slated electors, he's talking about his fake ones. And when he says everybody's going to march over to the Capitol to make your voice heard,
okay, this is
he's
boring.
His people, not in a disorganized
I don't care about January 6th, okay? I don't care.
Right now.
I don't care.
Yeah, okay. These are bites.
I don't care about January 6th. Enough. I have heard enough debates on January 6th. Is it fair for me to say that it's become tiresome? Are you all tired of January 6th? Yeah, I mean, rehashing arrest records. 1,500 protesters were participating in violence. Yeah.
Sides, so even if it gets a little frustrating or a little annoying, that's why we keep it short and sweet. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the next topic we got coming up, gang, is going to be the SARS-CoV zoo, whether it was from a lab
my
or
God.
a zoonautical event. Let's
Really?
bring on your next guy. Okay, hello.
So they're gonna rehash all the stupidest topics possible in order to distract from Destiny's scandals, I guess. I have no idea what this is supposed to achieve. Yeah, I think Quick is trying to rehab Steven. Yeah, what the hell is this? Labs? COVID labs? The hell? What?
Oh,
What are we doing here?
I camera for us, sir.
yeah, I'm good.
Okay, tell people who you are, what you do, all that.
If Destiny talks to enough lunatics on very old topics, then maybe people will forget about recent events. What the fuck? What? Maybe people will forget.
Deej. I orbit.
Oh, hello, Inkub. Hello. It's been a while since you've been here last. It's been a while. I hope you're. I'm gonna watch your movie when it's finished. I'm gonna watch it, especially since I'm a huge fan of animation. So it's not even gonna be a big problem for me. Oh yeah, I started watching a good anime. Can I make an anime recommendation to all of you? To all of you who are actually watching right now? Would you like to hear my quick anime recommendation? It's Frieren, Beyond the Journey's End. I know it's a pretty popular anime, but I just watched the first episode recently and I kind of like it. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. I think that anime is pretty good. I heard it was robbed of some award. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Frieren is like the name of the protagonist. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Whew. All right, let's.
Not Destiny. Sorry, I orbit Wix sometimes, and right now I post on Twitter.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Really
Why
appreciate
did it disappear?
you. So today the topic is SARS-CoV-2 almost certainly came from a zoonotic
I don't recommend Isekai Slop.
spillover. There is no reason to think it was leaked from a lab. Destiny, give your opening thoughts, and then we'll get into it. Same rules, same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's basically my opening. I mean,
Of course, I recommend Pluto. I will never stop recommending Pluto, the anime. The anime adaptation of the manga Pluto.
the pattern of infections all spreads from the wet market. We have good epidemiological and genetic evidence to see that it originated from the wet market. There's literally zero evidence whatsoever that it even came from the lab at all.
Again, why are we here? Why are we on this topic?
Short of like some insanely
We're gonna skip again soon, aren't we? I want to hear what the third brilliant topic is gonna be.
secretive plot that nobody knows about. There's literally no explanation for how it could have originated from a lab in Wuhan.
Okay, go ahead, Deej. Take it away.
So,
People rip and replace conspiracy theories. First Pizzagate, then COVID-19. Yeah,
so your stance really is that you
it's never ending, not really.
think that there is
Yeah, but this is an old one. Couldn't they at least be debating some new conspiracy theory?
like no evidence to suggest that it could have stemmed from the lab.
To suggest there might be a couple things that cut in favor, but generally speaking, no, all the evidence points towards zoonotic spillover.
And how hot, like when we're looking at the standard of evidence that we have pointing towards it being a zoonotic spillover, how highly do you rate the level of evidence that we have to confirm that that is the
Well, confirm,
source?
I don't think we'll ever know, but I'd say 90 to 95%. Basically, it's 100% unless there is there would have to be a whole plan.
Okay, thank you, Ducky.
From Chinese operatives to take that.
Okay, we're
virus and then
skipping
leak it
this.
to the
We
wet
are
market,
skipping this.
on their
This
own
is
without anybody
stupid.
knowing about it. And there's
This
no
is
evidence
just
of it.
stupid. I'm sorry.
So
I don't like it. Skip.
Sorry, I just want to make sure that I understood what you said. So,
Yeah.
so basically, you think that the only way that it could have come from the lab.
Okay, the next topic. Let's get this guy in here. Hello, sir. Oh, well. Hello, sir.
Uh-oh.
You're good. Just don't click join voice. Just turn on your video and we can hear you and stuff, so.
How are you guys doing? Sorry.
I'm
What's the
doing
topic?
Well, doing
What
well.
the hell is the
So
topic
the
now?
Topic
Okay.
for this particular discussion
Why are they
will be
disappearing?
this.
Okay.
Destiny thinks that Epstein almost certainly killed himself with no foul play involved. Fatty, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you, and yeah, tell people, and then we'll get the show.
Why are we?
Thank you very much for having me, Week. My name is Claudio. I'm streaming from Portugal. My stripper name is Fatty. And because I'm getting older, I'm trying to get some YouTube coins, so I'm gonna make it the transition. So you can find me on the Untouchable Empire.
Like kind of a call-in free for all.
He's a decent dude. I'm happy to see him successful. Of all the race to the middle we have. Who? Wait, who's the decent dude? Oh. Fatty? Who's Fatty?
Oh, we'll see, right? It's up to you.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm a micro streamer, okay? I'm not even a small streamer. I'm a micro streamer.
So yeah, if you want to call in and challenge Destiny on something, get backstage.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
before that though, we do have one more scheduled topic. Okay? And we have Mr. Wise Guys for this one.
Is anybody gonna challenge Destiny on any of the things?
And welcome, sir.
Uh-huh.
Oh wait, hold up. Let me fix my Discord.
Take your time. The topic is this.
Yeah.
Trump's campaign likely did collude with Russia, but we'll never know. Once he gets his camera working, we'll let him introduce himself.
Is it up?
I can see you. Okay, Mr. Wise Guy.
Perfect.
Tell people
2016, going back to 2016, really? Really, we're going back?
Introduce yourself. Where can they find you?
So, I'm Mr. Wise Guy, and I'm going to be very awkward because I do not do good with talking to public spaces. But
why are you here?
Anyways,
bluntly,
you can find me on YouTube, Rumble, X, all Mr. Wise Guy.
Okay. To the topic, Destiny. Do you want to start us off? Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that there are several things you could point to, but I'll just focus on Roger Stone. I think Roger Stone obviously was a campaign surrogate, was in communication with Trump.
Yep.
I think that it's.
I'm not interested. No, I don't care.
With the Russian hacker that hacked the DNC and was trying to coordinate the media leaks from.
Don't care.
Things. But let's go into overtime, gang. Okay. Let's bring in the first guy. I don't know what order you guys came in, so I'm just gonna.
Okay.
The people I think will.
Okay, push Destiny on something. That's not 10 years old. Who is this? Who are you?
Oh, he can't hear us. Hold on, let me DM him.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
There you are. You got a camera for us today?
Yes, I do. You gotta warn me when you just drag me into these things. Come on, man.
Okay. What do you got?
So I mean, I didn't prep for a specific debate. I thought this whole thing was going to be a Destiny allegations trial, but I'm curious. Shit, that's what everyone's talking about. That's what all my DMs are about. But no, I'm curious. Could you read me out your evidence as to why the Russia collusion thing happened? I've been writing some notes. I just want to make sure I got your evidence. Everyone's going to be. Dude, you got to warn me when you just drag me into these things.
What did he say?
Okay. What do you got?
So I mean, I didn't prep for a specific debate. I thought this whole thing was going to be a Destiny allegations trial, but I'm curious. Shit, that's what everyone's talking about. That's what all my DMs are about. But no, I'm curious.
Why is Destiny on Wick? Because I don't know. Wick wants to rehabilitate his image or something.
I've been writing some notes. I just want to make sure I got them all because
I think
the logic isn't logicking for me.
So Roger Stone 100% was coordinating with Lucifer 2.0 for media timings on the leaks.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Stone was 100% a campaign surrogate for Trump's.
Oh my God, I don't care.
Right.
2016 stuff.
Lied
and
instructed every part of that investigation into him when investigators were investigating. And then he was pardoned eventually for said thing for obstructing and keeping any amount of coordination with the Trump campaign safe. I think that it's almost certain that Stone was communicating with the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign probably should have said, hey, we don't do that. We're not coordinating with foreign hackers for the American political system. That's not good. That's not okay. But nobody said that. Nobody brought that up. I think it's a similar bad thing for that Trump Tower meeting was basically them saying, initially, I think when it leaked, they were like, we were just going to go chat with some friendly Russian lady about some Russian adoption thing. And then it later came out that actually we were getting opposition research from her in a Trump Tower from a Russian attorney. Super not okay. No, not good. And yeah, Trump just tried really hard at every stage to obstruct every part. Firing Comey was the incitement moment for appointing Mueller, telling Sessions to recuse himself, telling Sessions to kill the investigation, and then him recusing himself. Other people lying about communicating with Russia, like Flynn, and getting pardoned. Like, it's just so much.
You have to skip
Trump
this.
pardoning everybody that's helping him keep everything covered up. Yeah.
Okay. So
anyway, I found a leftist journal that made some article about Ukraine, and it's quite bad, but it's not in English. Oh, well.
That I have a problem with. The incongruency comes from the debate you had right before that, where it seems like a president who is obstructing a justice in the most guilty, obvious
I don't care.
any of these administrations, specifically Democratic administrations, released government.
I don't care.
I think that I'm not trying to defend Trump. Just get back to what we're the point on is that, like, I just
themselves in the foot where they kind of campaigned and had this whole
I don't care.
that made him look worse. But I think there's a lot that makes him look a lot worse, which is why he's going to such lengths to not look.
What was the point of doing the Ghislaine Max?
Again.
You're live. What do you got?
Okay.
What's up?
Who is this?
Hello, Destiny.
Hi.
You good?
I'm so good.
Yeah, so, are you still an anti-theist or you're an atheist?
Oh my god. Oh, fuck me. Really? Is it gonna be a religion debate now?
I'm an atheist.
Oh god.
Wait, but because, like, in 2022, you were an anti-theist. You were anti-religion.
Oh
Sure,
no.
depends on how upset I am at the time. Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, so why are you an atheist?
I don't believe in God.
Now, I know that you don't believe in God, but what's the reasoning behind it? Why don't
Do you have
you?
a-
Well, I don't
have
think I need
camera for us
reasoning to
today?
not believe in him. I think I need reasoning to believe in him. I don't think there's any compelling evidence to believe in a higher power.
No, I think that you you have to use reasoning to not believe.
No, you don't. What? No, you don't. No, you absolutely don't. You have to use reasoning to believe. The opposite is true. This is so stupid.
I think so. I think you start every position as like not believing in a thing, and then you need evidence to believe in the thing. And I don't think there's any compelling evidence to believe in the thing.
Wait, what? You don't start at not believing. You start with like basic rational intuition.
What? What the hell is basic rational intuition? I use a lot of reasoning to not believe in dragons. Yeah, I know. This is what the hell. Funny. I don't know. It's funny, but then it stops being funny. What is this? Are we back in 2015 now? Or 14 even? Religious debate? Why are you an atheist?
So
Do you believe that?
Don't you think banana was just designed for our hand?
Of absence.
Do you believe in the? Do you think the universe of Star Trek is real?
No, I don't.
Why? How did you reason your way to that?
Because we have direct defeaters. It's non-fiction without like identified authors.
Why can't it be? Well, I mean, doesn't the Bible have identified authors?
My intuition is rational. Your intuition is irrational. True.
No, I'm not Christian.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, so far as I've investigated the evidence, I don't think there's a compelling reason to believe in God, so I don't believe in any God. It's fiction to me, just the same way as Star Trek or The Matrix or anything else.
So your claim that no compelling evidence is vague. You have to name the strongest arguments and why they fail.
No, I absolutely don't.
What?
I don't need to. I would be a non-believer on basically any subject matter that somebody hasn't presented me a ton of. I would say, I probably don't think that's true. If it's anything I've investigated at all, and I don't think I would need to investigate every single piece of evidence to know if I don't believe in a thing or not.
So you believe that the burden is only on theism?
They're generally the ones making the claim. Yeah.
All right.
Oh my god.
But you believe that you have a neutral skepticism?
No, it's probably shaded a little bit more on the negative. Like, rather than saying I'm neutral on it, I'd be more willing to say it's false, just because I had a
I'm back in 2014 hell,
and I'm not content with anything I find there. So probably a little bit less than neutral, like worse than neutral.
All right. So,
okay.
What do you think of religion? What's your stance on religion?
That's a very broad question. I don't know what the question.
Okay.
Yeah, that's enough.
Thank you for calling in. We're gonna be.
Could I right now? Could I quickly give an argument for theism?
Yeah, do it. Well, yeah, let him do it. Wait, go.
All right. So
An argument
my main argument for theism is the contingency that contingent things exist, and an infinite regress of explanations can't terminate in more contingents. So a necessary, non-contingent cause explains why anything exists at all.
Hello, greater
end. A necessary non-contingent cause.
Wick is having destiny to launder his image, and we are stuck in 2014 hell, and we are watching a religion debate. Brilliant. Amazing.
Why must there be a necessary non-contingent? Because if every explanation is contingent, you either get an infinite regress that never explains why there is anything rather than nothing. That's why.
Is God an infinite regress?
Is God an infinite regress?
Yes.
Because my next question is going to be, if I can't have a non-contingent universe, why can you have a non-contingent God?
Uh-oh.
But I don't think that God is an infinite reject.
Yeah, but why can't my universe? Why can you have a non-contingent God, but I can't have a non-contingent universe?
Because a pure contingent chain never answers why anything at all. So you need a terminus that exists by necessity to halt regress.
Why do you need it? Why do I need a terminus for the universe, but you don't need a terminus for God?
True.
Okay.
Okay, she was like this
Thank you
person.
for calling in.
Hey, you can send him up.
Yep.
So sorry, my mic was muted, but because let me answer your question really quick. Because the universe is contingent and changeable, but God is necessary.
Wait. Why are you allowed to say that? Why are you allowed to do a special pleading for God and properties of God? Why can't I say? Why can't I
am
make
an
the same pleading
infinite
for my universe
regress.
and say my universe is actually
Me too.
Had a non-contingent start or is infinite and time started at the Big Bang? But you're allowed to make a special pleading for God and say he doesn't.
It's not special pleading. It's not special pleading if it's argued from a principle distinction.
What's your proof that God is non-contingent and can function that way?
Logic.
Logic.
Okay. Thank you for calling in, buddy. And have a great night. And we'll do 2 more, I think. So if you're the strongest soldier back there, okay, and you
This was
really
such a
want
waste of
dance,
time.
DM me, let me know, okay? We're gonna go with vibes here. We're gonna just randomize.
The purpose of this is so transparent.
And we're gonna choose you. Hello.
Oh, it's so bad.
What's going on?
Hi.
Nothing much.
Let's see here now. What are some of the topics you want to talk about? Or
Your
am I the
pick.
one that
If
oh,
you
I
got
pick.
one,
Okay.
we're gonna kick.
I do have one with Destiny.
Yeah.
What's
Destiny.
your opinion on appealing to moderate Republicans?
Destiny, why are you texting minors? Oh wait, nobody's gonna ask that.
In order to win elections?
Cringe.
Cringe? Why?
Because I don't want Republicans to vote for Democrats. I want Democrats to vote for Democrats.
But
how much did Destiny pay with for this?
Democrats
Good question.
Win, right?
Yeah.
So what does it matter who votes for them as long as they win?
Because the chance of appealing to the opposite party is like definitionally not the point of a party. The party is to appeal to the party.
Your goal isn't to appeal to the opposite party. Your goal is to take away people from that party to your own party by appealing to them.
I mean, I think that you do that through policy. I feel like the political strategy passed, and it probably wouldn't be good.
Wick is probably doing it for free. Yeah, he probably wants the DGG audience.
Filibuster is probably important for making sure we're not just like passing crazy legislation and then taking it back every single election cycle. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that the filibuster has been much more useful for the Republicans than people who actually want to get stuff done. And what I mean by that is that the Republicans are perfectly happy with a government that doesn't really do much, and the Democrats actually want to.
Skip.
Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Skip.
Dang, we're going rapid fire.
Okay, quick. I've got to leave him.
I
I've got a
understand.
headache. And I'm grumpy. Hi, what's up?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. What you got?
So I think you need to lock way harder into the Alien Enemies Act stuff. Have you there was that case named JGG versus Trump. Have you read the contempt thing from Boasberg?
No, but didn't they dump? Isn't that dump now, basically?
And we're done here. We're done here. This was a waste of time. This is stupid. Okay, we don't need any of this. This is just dumb. This is just dumb. We don't need this. All right, we're done. What is this?
A dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party. Only $8,000 a month? Jesus Christ.
Isn't this an old topic as well? Progressive victory or whatever. Come Peter already.
And
True.
then somehow manages to spend billions in a 3-month presidential campaign. And
Putting Polish titles. I know.
Figure like content creator buyout salaries. Jesus Christ. They have to siphon the rest off to themselves. Yeah, I guess it's not cheap paying for the salaries of 50,000 consultants in DC. Oh my God. $8,000 a month for one person is crazy though. Not really. Not for this level of. Remember that when it was found out that there was that one YouTube channel that was paying Tim Pool and a few other far right content creators, like what was like
I would have been happy with $8,000 per month.
$1 million a year. How much was it? An obscene amount of money per year. It was like $400,000 a month or some shit. Yeah, ridiculous for like one video a week. You know. Like insane. Secretive program aimed at bolstering democratic messaging on the internet, but the contract sent to them from Chorus, the nonprofit arm of a liberal influencer marketing platform, came with some strings, mandated extensive secrecy about disclosing their payments, restrictions on what kind of political content the creators could produce. Let me guess, you can't criticize Israel. I'm just gonna pitch it. Let me guess.
Is it Vosh before he was outed as a pedophile? No, I think it's after. I'm pretty sure it's after. This is a new video. This is a video from 2 hours ago, so it's Vosh after he was outed. Also, Tim Pool was paid not only by a private individual, it was paid by Russia. Yeah, I know. Russia is grossly understating the situation. I know. Yeah, Tim Pool was paid by Russia to lie about the war.
You can't criticize Israel. That's my guess. Or probably they felt in some like PR bullshit kind of way, you know, like you should criticisms offered to Israel should be done with full respect of the the party line. Should we send a joint email, or are they just going to send everything separately and hope they change everything for everyone? Lorenzo, a non-binary creator in Columbus, Ohio. Vosh, I do not recommend we take this article.
Vosh doesn't need to be paid by foreign state if young children are. Jesus Christ. Why does it feel like all the big content creators are just engulfed in scandals involving short sack goblins? Like, why does this seem to be the case? Destiny, Vosh, and the streamers that actually are, I don't know, good, don't even have the fraction of the audience. Destiny is the most decent one. What do you mean decent one? I think you mean the recent one.
Face value. Okay, we're like one paragraph in.
Destiny's not the most decent one,
We
definitely.
have to read it before we can. I mean, in what way?
Okay, recent.
Wired's pretty.
I thought so.
Put out some good stuff. Admittedly,
that was an unfortunate typo.
I think has at times demonstrated less than spectacular political.
Yeah. Recent makes change. Decent. I was like, no. He's not the most decent one. Not by a long shot. My goodness. Yeah.
You want me to take Pac-Man over a Wired article? Is your dissent here because Pac-Man disagrees? I mean, we can take a peek. We can take a peek. Where's your 8K payout from the DNC? Honestly, they would never give it to me. Pac-Man's on the list. Yeah. The influencers in the chat collectively had at least 13.
Who is probably the worst in the streaming space? Political streaming space, probably Destiny is the worst one. Yeah.
Million followers across social platforms. Ultimately,
have I mentioned that I'm gonna be having? Have I mentioned that I'm gonna be having a conversation with Counterpoints on Wednesday? Next Wednesday, where I'm gonna have a debate. Are you excited for my debate? I think like there were people not here for me to announce that I'm gonna be debating. I'm gonna have a whole debate. Will you give him counterpoints? I will, actually. We'll be debating socialism. Isn't that exciting? Are you excited for me to debate socialism? You excited for that? Counterpoints, yeah, not contrapoints. I'm gonna be debating socialism from the perspective of Polish socialists.
We didn't really make much progress. Vibe the email. If there's any change. I don't feel strongly about pushing TBH. Aaron Parnas, a Gen Z news influencer who had been called the Gen Z Walter Cronkite.
Who will just not know what socialism is for 2 hours.
Okay.
It'll be great content.
They aren't going to modify anymore.
I have to expand and speak to more people, I feel like. I have to be more active. Don't you think I need to be a more active streamer, that I have to talk to more people and be like super into it? I have to lock in and talk to more people. Do you not feel that's the case? I would talk to Brooks more, but Brooks does not seem to be interested in talking to me. Estelle, tell Brooks to talk to me. Do it. Tell him something.
$1,000 a month is so little for this kind of buyout. For years, Democrats have struggled to work with influencers. Joe Biden snubbed content creators after they lightly criticized the administration over its policies on climate change. COVID
I've had enough. I'm not interested in this. I have had enough. The last liberal bastion. What is this? I'm just studying. True. Socialism is when American gets scared of things European already have. True. Like healthcare. This is interesting. Tactics Ogre versus Triangle strategy. A retro modern versus a modern retro. Tactical versus. Okay, let's watch this. Also, RFK is dangerous cringe Texas trans bathroom bill. Chads cancel One Piece. Why did Chads cancel One Piece?
I've been playing strategy RPGs for the better part of my existence.
I know of it. I know of Dragon Quest Inquisition. Dragon Age Inquisition. Xanderhal, I feel that he's doing pretty well. He has like over 100 viewers right now live, which I cannot say about myself. I don't have 100 viewers right now. Xanderhal is doing better than me. I don't know, but I don't trust Zan to talk about anything. Well,
when I first got a game.
More people trust Xanderhall than me, okay?
I would gravitate toward games like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and Fire Emblem
God.
Sacred Stones.
I don't
then
like.
When I got a PSP, it were games like this guy.
Hot take, I don't like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I think it was a huge disappointment compared to Final Fantasy Tactics. Have you missed his crash outs? Me? No, I have not.
Which, when I asked my mom to buy it for me, I didn't even know it was a strategy game.
Xanderhost, yeah, he had some crash outs. He back in the day, he threatened to bludgeon Keffels with a gun or something. And he screamed at his editor that she was making him homeless or something. There's no recent one. No, I will not. I will not play the clip of him puking on stream. Also, he puked on stream, which I will not play that stream because I will get squeamish, okay? I'm not gonna... No, that's not happening. No! Okay. You wanted it. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, you wanted it. If you want it so bad, then you're gonna get it. Okay? You wanted it. Okay? If I'm gonna puke because of it, it's gonna be on you. Okay? I should demand that you donate for this.
Just nodding their head as if you're a child and going along with what they're saying, but not actually internalizing any of it and like introspectively considering what you're saying. So like a Cheeto sounds to me kind of like that. Like, a good person on the outside, but like intellectually and I guess morally, they're kind of like shallow.
No, why did I do that? Why? Why did I play this?
To the point where, like, you know, they constantly backslide back to those dog shit takes until eventually they alienate everyone. Like,
oh my god!
You're probably right about that for a lot of people. What? Did Xanderhall just die?
I think
did he? Xanderhall died. No.
Okay, guys.
No.
Stop.
Oh.
Wait, everyone stop. Calm yourself. Calm.
Oh, fuck.
What the hell was that?
Wait,
was that his girlfriend?
Everyone stop. Calm.
Was that the person? Was that the infamous girlfriend that took his money? Lucy, you looked away too much for that to count as a view. No, I did not. I did not. Maybe he already has one. Maybe he already has his puke bucket.
Oh, fuck. Christ.
What the hell was that?
Oh, fuck.
Calm yourself. Calm.
Oh, fuck.
Calm yourself. Calm.
Oh, fuck.
What the hell was that? Oh, God.
Christ.
Hi, Lonnie.
I'm okay. Are you?
All right. That is unfortunate. The things Zan does for his career.
Got it all ended.
I puke for charity.
Is he good?
You know, that should be the next $1,000 goal. Xander Hall pukes for charity.
So sorry. I'm so sorry for laughing.
I'm not. Like, he does it to himself to an extent, but also he's having fun.
Oh, he's still vomiting. He's still puking in the background. What the? He's giving him lectures on live.
Oh, give it to him, Lonnie.
I'm muting him.
Oh,
okay, Sam.
Why would you do that? Why would you?
Everybody.
I don't know if he's gonna catch up to this part of the stream, but Lonnie, for the love of God, please keep giving Xander Hall shit about not using the fucking trash. Holy hell.
So, Chad, how's everyone doing tonight?
Why didn't you save that sort of conversation for, I don't know, later? It's weird, strange. I feel like you should, whatever. You asked for it. I feel like one of you should donate for this, okay? For forcing me to do this. End the call. I'm not in a call. Stuff like this is just funny. I've paid membership for 3 months on YouTube. That should be enough. Which tier? Which tier? Tier 1? I don't know if tier 1 was worth Xanderhall puking. Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Okay, let's see. Let's do a check on Xanderhall.
Extra cash I needed when my cat had a seizure and I had to take her to the vet. You know, I gave you a place to stay when your house burned down and you need a place to live. Like, we're bros, dude. Like, that's what bros, like, bro code means. Like, when you're bros with someone like that, yeah, there's a kind of a code to what you do and how you act, right?
What?
The sisterhood thing is definitely, like, it feels more like a cultural standard, you know? Like, two women who are strangers, like, if a woman is alone somewhere and says
Hello,
out
Lettuce.
loud,
I'm doing a little check.
Use the bathroom, a non-zero amount of women that she does not know will say, oh, me too, let me go with you. That will nothing like that happens among men. Nothing even approaching that happens among men.
That's not true.
There is no camaraderie on a basic level. Men don't even like or trust each other until a reason otherwise is given.
That's not true.
At best, it's neutrality. Does that make sense?
No, it
So
doesn't,
in a way,
actually.
The men who complain so much
That
about
actually makes no sense at all. And no, that's not true. Maybe that explains a lot. Maybe just Thunderhall has shitty friends. What is that receiving the 8K DNC show blood money? Yes, he was. Go pee with your bros.
hate. They're not so much complaining about man hate as they're complaining about man hate that includes them. When a feminist says fuck all men, I promise you none of these men would be getting mad if those feminists said fuck all men except for that specific guy. They would not be getting pissed at those tweets. They don't have a problem with the fact that men, their identity is being attacked.
He's too young and too stupid to know anything. Okay, I reject that. There are streamers that are, I don't know. How old is Xanderhall? Sorry, can you remind me how old is Xanderhall? $24. Is he 24? 25? Is Xanderhall 25? Listen, if Xanderhall is 25, then Dylan Burns is younger than Xanderhall and is not too young and too stupid to know anything. So I'm not accepting the whole he's too young to know anything, okay? I reject that. I reject that excuse, okay? He started YouTube when he was 18, so you can check. Oh.
Don't have a connection to their identity. I'm gonna be completely real with you. Guys don't think about being guys. We don't have to. We don't have to think about our gender and what
That's not true at all as well. Guys do think about being guys. I assure you that guys do think about being guys. Okay? So that's not true at all. I assure you that guys actually very much do think about being guys. You don't have to speak from personal experience. All you have to know is know guys. To know that guys think about being guys.
that it means for us when we're walking down the street, when we're in a crowded space, when we're alone with another man. That shit just doesn't even cross our minds. We don't think about being men. We don't think about other men being men as like the first thought that comes to us. We have the privilege of not thinking about it. I understand I got a little stun locked here, though I do like, you know, kind of talking about this sort of thing. And so
yeah, I noticed.
Men see other men as at best a neutral entity and at worst competition or another, or like a predator of some kind.
What? No, that's what the no. What? That's not true. The hell? Oh my god.
You kind of realize
that's bullshit. That's such bullshit.
Yeah, okay, I sort of get it. Transphobia is primarily based on hatred, distrust towards men, and that's why most of it is focused on trans women. Trans men aren't seen as men. They're seen as oftentimes young girls, part of falling into a trend or something. Meanwhile, trans women are seen as voluntary predators who are trying to don an accessory, a costume.
This is so stupid. Men see each other at best as neutral, but it only goes down from there. They see each other as predators, and what the no? This is so dumb. It's so dumb. Oh my god. Same.
And go into women's exclusive spaces to hurt them. Now here's where this worldview falls apart. When you look at the data...
And this is where my made-up worldview falls apart.
Everything that the average person assumes to be true falls apart. It's not true. You might
Everything? Everything that an average person assumes to be true falls apart? So if an average person assumes that the sky is blue, then, I don't know, it falls apart? It's not true? Just like there's vibe coding, Zan does vibe politics, I've noticed. When you look at the data...
assume that maybe there is a slightly higher rate or chance of a trans woman being a predator than a cis woman. You might have thought that would be true.
No, I have not thought that to be true. Why would I?
Turns out it's not.
Oh, turns out it's not. There's a reason why you could think that, but turns out it's not. Oh, okay. Okay.
Shit you not, every bit of criminological data we have shows that cis women are more likely to be predators even when it comes to sex crimes per capita than trans women.
I shit you not. I shit you not.
Do you want to know what's even crazier?
Well, how is that crazy? Why is that crazy?
A trans woman is more likely to be violently or sexually assaulted by a cis woman than vice versa. When a trans woman enters, say, a woman's locker room or a woman's bathroom, it is significantly more likely that a cis woman is going to grope her up to see if she's cis or beat the shit out of her upon accusing her of being trans or clocking her than it is for...
He feels like he's talking to the LA audience. Xander Hall does not attract some randoms. Everybody that watches Xander Hall knows Xander Hall and what he stands for. I feel like all that Xander Hall has left is very loyal viewers, which is not bad. 121 people, good for him. But he does not attract randoms.
For that trans woman, or even
imagine if I talk to you people. Imagine if I talk to you like this. Hey, you might think that trans women are predators. I bet some of you thought that, right? But you know what? That turns out not to be true. I shit you not. Well, like, imagine if I talk to you like this. Do you attract a LA audience? No, but neither does Xander Hall, okay? Neither does Xander Hall.
Man dressed up as a woman to assault or pull some kind of shit. And do you want to know why that is?
Do you know who attracts a LA audience? Asmongold. I want to see a source that backs up cis women assault trans women more than men. It would be interesting to actually see a source on that.
Real life is not a Metal Gear Solid game.
This is truly the Xander of hoes.
Where as long as you put on a disguise, you're allowed
What?
to. Life is not a Metal some kind of shit. And do you want to know why that is? Real life is not a Metal Gear Solid game. Where as long as you put on a disguise, you're allowed to do shit that's illegal. What do you mean that, like, trans women are dressing up as and pretending to be women to enter women's spaces, and then do what? Assault them? Rape them? These are things that are already illegal. If a cis woman goes...
You cannot do whatever you want in Metal Gear Solid games, as long as you put on a disguise. That's not a thing. That's not a thing in Metal Gear Solid games, okay? That you can do whatever you want as long as you put on a disguise. So I have no clue where that Metal Gear Solid comparison came from, and it pissed me off, okay? It shows that Xander Hall has no clue about Metal Gear Solid games.
Goes into the women's bathroom and starts ogling at, like, underage girls or women in there, or starts groping people, or doing any number of things that transphobes fear a trans woman would do in a woman's locker room or bathroom, they're going to prison. Your gender doesn't decide anything, and there are not security guards outside of bathrooms that keep people from, like, check and make sure you're going into the right bathroom. The way the law...
I think the only game in which you actually use that disguise is... Okay, there were 2 Metal Gear Solid games in which you actually put on a disguise. 3 and 4. I'm not sure about 5. You had sex with one woman and that will be the only woman. Okay, that is mean.
Works in America is if you commit a crime, you go to jail for it, you go to prison, you go to court, and just...
He's thinking of Hitman, maybe. There's a Metal Gear Solid game where some guy grabs another guy's balls. That's Metal Gear Solid 3. We're gonna play it, by the way. We're gonna play Metal Gear Solid. But he's a Giga gamer, of course. True. Same as me, as you know. As you very well know, are aware. I'm a Giga gamer.
Justice is served. You can't presume a crime will happen.
I'm an Uber gamer.
Well, prejudice is what it is. You're assuming someone is going to commit a particular crime because of their identity.
No way. Prejudice against trans people? No. No. You're shitting me. That's not true. Oh, prejudice against trans people?
By definition, prejudice. No different than if you were a cop and you saw a black guy walking down the street and were like, I bet he's up to no good because he's black. Literally the same thing. It's the same fucking thing. But all the data suggests...
Does Xander Hall really think that he needs to explain to his audience that transphobia stems from prejudice? Is he still a white leaf user? I think so. I think so. Yeah, he is. Nah, 5 doesn't have disguise, it's only camouflage system. Like Snake does use a camouflage. Snake does a disguise in 4 to make himself look young again. And in 3 you disguise as Raiden lookalike to be grabbed by the balls. Is this audience just okay with him saying the same things over and over again? Well, yeah, apparently, since he has 120 people watching. So yeah, apparently his audience is indeed okay with him saying the same thing over and over again. But I often feel like I repeat myself too much, okay? I often feel like I repeat the same point too many times when I cover news or politics or anything in between. But I feel like my colleague here takes the cake.
That the exact opposite is more likely. But the reality is not intuitive. Most people would
It's not intuitive! Why do you think those things are intuitive? That is a very big assumption to say that those things actually feel intuitive. I'm telling you, he confused MGS with Hitman. Maybe I should play Hitman, actually. There is another game that I should probably maybe play in the future. But yeah, you're right. I think so. Oh.
Assume that trans women are less likely to be sexually assaulted or to sexually assault a cis woman than vice versa. Most wouldn't assume that. And there's a lot of reasons why, but none of them pull from data. Most people make up their minds based off of lived experience. A lot of people, even if they're not like overtly transphobic, have probably seen a lot of trans posters on social media, and
what? Trans posters? What?
I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but it is definitely true.
What?
Trans women online have a reputation for being more...
Go on. I'm a trans woman online. Go on. Continue. What?
Goonery, if that makes sense. Publicly and openly goonery.
No, I'm not. No.
Than cis people. I might even be wrong about that, actually.
What? Then why did you say it? Why did you say it and immediately retreat to, you know what, actually I might be wrong. What is this? What is this?
Trans people might be less likely to be publicly gooner. But when cis people...
Less likely? So is it more or less likely? Those are the polar opposites. Those are literal opposites. Why would you say that? Why would you say, oh, you know, trans women are just more prone to be goonerish online? But you know what? Actually, maybe it's just the total opposite. What? Why? Why would you? Why? He deserves some credit for being able to go 5 minutes without a weed vape. Listen, I know people that smoke a lot of weed and have exceptional work ethic. So don't even try to blame this on weed, okay? Don't try to blame things on weed, okay? I know people that smoke a lot and have exceptional work ethic, okay? Oh.
do it. No one's like saying, ooh, cis people gooning.
You know, it's just the position of Mary J does a lot of how it's received in this deliberate, delicate balance. Positioning.
It's weird. But regardless, though, a lot of people think trans women, they think like OnlyFans accounts or horny Twitter posters and edgelord.
What? Who? You do know that all that you need to get access to medical pot is to say that your bones hurt and you have trouble sleeping. I got access to medical pot in Poland. It's not difficult. I just realized I have not typed anything. I find that outrageous. Yes, you should. Oh, Lucy was a South Park episode. Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. But it is quite easy to get access to medical pot, which sort of makes it semi-legal in Poland in a way.
Discord memers and whatnot, and it's hard not to imagine like, yeah, maybe trans women are more sexual.
Who's a chaser? He claimed to not be attracted to trans people, but I'm starting to think he's a chaser now. Who?
Inclined, and maybe that could lead to a higher likelihood of victimizing cis women. This is complete nonsense, of course.
What?
It's the optics poisoning, as Lucky Otter called it, that a lot of normies fall for. These are not people who build up their positions based on data. They don't Google crime data. They just make assumptions based off of preconceived notions, many of them that are not very well formulated. I'm so glad I outgrew that edgy BS. I think I did a pretty good job of explaining the way that a lot of people think on this issue.
Oh my goodness, so confident. So confident. Oh my god. Hmm. Oh. Okay. My god. I'll watch it later.
Which is why there's so much support in
What the hell is optic poisoning?
Texas right now to advance this bathroom bill, this bill that will make it a crime for trans people to use the quote-unquote wrong bathroom. Texas is not the only state to have done this.
Maybe I should cover this actually.
Florida famously did this, and we covered a story of a trans woman who actually protested the Florida law by going to
There's actually a thing that Trump wants to also insert into education, that sex education will not be able to have references to gender ideology. I want to cover that today. That's going to be my story for today.
Bathroom at the Capitol. Her name is Marcy Rankin, and she went to jail for a couple, I think a night, and then was expected to go to court, facing nearly like 20 years in prison or something like that. It was a ridiculous amount of time. Thankfully, the judge threw her case out because the police and prosecutor didn't do their job right. They didn't succeed in putting together a case that the judge would accept in court, so she just got let off by default. Which is like maybe the worst, best case scenario being disseminated in
okay, enough. We have done enough Xander Hall. Judge me by my enemies. Hassan, judge me by my enemies. Spiker proven right again. I feel like if a trans person is forced to use the wrong restroom, they should take a selfie of themselves being pissed in the restroom. We've done enough slandering of Slander Hall. What's malnourishing? What's malnourishing my Zans? Hello, I'm an Entropy fan. We've been doing a little bit of a check on Xander Hall, and it's been it's not been very impressive. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. It's not been. Let's see who's live. Dylan Burse is live, talking about something politics. Xander Hall is of course talking about Texas. I'm going to be talking about an LGBT topic today as well. Who is Karolin Borisenko? Destiny is our favorite streamer. Destiny is doing something. There was this one guy who was forced to use a woman's restroom who looked like he belonged on a hot sauce bottle. Kolya Boroshenko is a woman who left the left. Oh, really? Really? She was okay.
The author of these opinions tends to maybe not recognize herself in the abolition feminism.
131 viewers.
And the, DIY trans care communization and the abortion undergrounds that are the cutting edge of feminist insurgency today.
Yeah, abortion undergrounds and DIY trans care are the cutting edge of feminist insurgency today. So, for everyone that's new, welcome to watching Queer Marxism. I know it might seem boring.
Queer Marxism. Oh boy.
For for most of the presentation, but then we hit these golden nuggets where Sophie Lewis is like, do you know what is the cutting edge of underground feminist insurgency today? DIY trans hormones and unofficial abortions outside of the medical system. You guys know that's what they're saying, right? I literally have zines where they teach people how to do their own DIY hormones.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe they can go to doctors for their hormones because doctors are a part of the system, and so they do DIY hormones and they self-administer to each other. When it comes to abortion, regular abortion is expensive.
Oh, she's repeating it for effect, yes.
Capitalist enterprise. So they can just do abortion outside of the system, and that's much better because they are literally saving women from the burden of upholding their role in the gender binary if they have to have kids. So you got to do abortion somehow if you can't do it within the capitalist system. See, this is why we watch queer Marxism, folks, because stuff like this always comes up, and we will watch yes.
That is pretty boring, actually, and ironically, that is pretty boring. We should actually watch someone else, unironically, right now. Let's see. And then we're actually gonna go into some topics because I think I had some... Oh yeah, I did have something prepared for you. Jesus Christ, I do. I have my own stuff that I can do. I am my own person. I am my own streamer. I don't need to just watch other people. I can actually, you know, produce my own stuff. Really? Yeah. If I put my mind to it, I can try. Who else is here? Linux text tips. The line. Ooh, this one's interesting. This person to the right is called Josie Rose, and she's a trans woman from Maryland, and she's the first person that had me on her stream back in the day. She was my first serious streamer collaboration / conversation. Yeah, Elizabeth Bestade.
Anti-conception and stuff like this. Yeah, I think... So, I don't know...
Poland.
I don't really buy the notion that if we have regulation, that we risk other people changing the regulation, because I think if we don't have regulation, we also risk them coming up with new regulation. Like, I think it's the same either way. I think what there needs to be is if a politician is going to make a law that restricts the ability of healthcare providers to make decisions informed by evidence for their patients, that law needs to pass through a very, very high degree of scrutiny by the medical field and representatives in the medical field.
I should call in.
Like, what I see as the problem is not regulation in and of itself. I think
how do I call in?
Regulation can be very helpful to ensure that people aren't being taken advantage of, people aren't being abused. What I think is the problem is when politicians come in and say, well, like, even for example, there was a state in the US who commissioned a report on trans healthcare to try to get it banned. And the report came back and said that the healthcare was good for teenagers. And then they said, well, you know what? We don't care. We're banning it anyway. Right. So I think the issue here isn't about regulation. It's about the willingness of doctors to intervene, or willingness of politicians, to intervene in a field in which they have no expertise and are just purely doing it off of rhetoric and propaganda.
All right.
What I want is a regulation on politicians' ability to intervene in the
I don't want the phone bill, no.
As it's applied by a doctor.
I don't.
I think it should be very, very difficult for...
What would you like to talk about? I don't know. What should I talk about?
Sue or restrict
I don't know.
access to a specific kind of care that is supported by evidence.
Here comes the issue. Here in Poland, we have public healthcare. Most of the people cannot afford any healthcare if it's not the public. So, like, if you make something less available, like limit the capacity because you limit the money that goes there, you're actually cutting off the help for those people in many scenarios.
For sure.
In like many cases.
Yeah, that's the same here too.
It's actually not possible to get rid of that issue because the money is actually controlled by government.
No, I mean that's the like so we obviously we don't have your kind of socialized healthcare, but we you know, for example, like Medicaid, right? Like I think something like 70% of trans people got their
It's a call-in show.
Medicaid, like state programs. Is my understanding that number?
A Polish person is calling
I don't
in.
know if Josie knows better, or if anyone in the chat knows better, please correct me. But my understanding is the vast majority of trans people are getting their healthcare through like Medicaid.
I'm gonna write in their chat.
Program. So when they ban coverage of these programs on Medicaid or state health insurance programs, like you're saying, Anira, that functionally makes it illegal for people here too, which is kind of my point.
I mean, it might be a point, but also I have to clarify that here in Poland, there's no public healthcare for trans people. You have to pay everything from your pocket anyway, regardless the taxes you pay for the healthcare. You have to pay your own money for the process of consulting the psychologist and also for SRS. But at least here in Poland, HRT is very affordable for everyone. It's like 30 zloty for the month, which is like less than $10 monthly.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things like usually therapy is covered.
I am feeding content. That's not entirely true. There are free methods to get therapy as a trans person, and there's also the aspect of if you have medical insurance, hormones get cheaper. There is a partial refundation of the hormones if you have insurance. So that's not entirely true that you pay 100% from pocket. Call the internet police, Lucy stealing. That is what I do. That is what I do. What is Vanderhol? I'm gonna go back to refundation, yeah.
Because today I'm gonna be talking about the Chud's mass cancellation of the live action One Piece Season 2. Now, I'm just gonna get this out right up front. I have not seen One Piece, nor do I know much about One Piece.
What the
fuck? It is on my list.
Then why are you talking about it? Oh, come on. Come on. Kickback? Yeah, that's a good expression. I'm out of here. I'm just... whatever. Yeah, it is. Right-wingers are super angry, I think. There are people that are super angry because Vivi, Princess Vivi, was that the name? Has dark skin or something stupid like that. We're just landing over just under hole, yeah. What made her black in the live action? He's so confident. He is confident. Okay, let's watch the video that I had. Where's the video? Where's the video? Oh, I want to watch this. Okay, I want to watch this first.
Younger me just thought the characters looked cool.
Sorry.
There was always something...
I'm a gamer at heart, okay? I want to watch Tactic Ogre comparison to Triangle Strategy. We have played Triangle Strategy on stream, okay? And I might play Tactic Ogre in the future on stream as well. So I think we have the basis of Tactic Ogre is very similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. So I feel like we have the basis of watching this video and adding meaningful commentary, adding brilliance.
That just oddly clicked and kept bringing me back to these types of games, even to the point where I still play them now and can find them extremely relaxing while at the same time challenging. All of this to say,
I've never heard of this game.
I've had a big problem recently. You see, I fell in love with this game called Triangle Strategy not too long ago.
It is a pretty good game. Look! Our little genocide Andy is here.
Man, let me tell you, this game takes me back to those younger days, sitting on the bottom bunk, laying upside down, playing with my PSP. I get such a rush of nostalgia when I play this game that it's become one of my favorite things in the world. But there are others online who don't even think Triangle Strategy is good, or not even a challenging game. So what are these knaves shilling, you ask? Tactics Ogre Reborn. Alright, I'll check it out. With this series, I plan to pick some categories common for strategy RPGs and measure the two games against each other to try and see which one is objectively better. Now, I know it's impossible for me as a diehard...
None of them is objectively better. I already have the answer, okay? I played a little bit of Tactic Ogre, and I played Final Fantasy Tactics, and I played Triangle Strategy. None of them is objectively better.
Fan of Triangle Strategy not to be subjective, so feel free to take everything I say with a grain of salt.
What a silly thing to say. Did he say subjectively? That's better. Okay. Okay, that's better. That's better.
Now, I know it's impossible.
That's better. Okay, that's okay. I misheard him.
Subjectively better. Now,
Okay, in my defense, he is slurring his words.
I know it's impossible for me as a diehard fan each other to try and see which one is objectively better.
No, he said objectively. He said objectively. He did not say subjectively.
Measure the two games against each other to try and see which one is objectively better.
He said objectively.
Now, I know it's RPGs and measure the two games against each other to try and see which one is objectively better. Now, I know it's impossible for me as a diehard fan of Triangle Strategy not to be subjective, so feel free.
See? He said I'm gonna see which one is objectively better, and it's gonna be difficult for me not to be subjective.
To take everything I say with a grain of salt.
So to that question, the answer is none of them. None of them are objectively better, because those are very subjective things.
Now, there's been
Which one did you like more? Neither. They're different.
A bit of discourse online regarding these two games. I was scrolling through comments on various internet...
Nitpicking the wording of a Triangle Strategy review, please. Yes. Yes, I'm a gamer. Capital G gamer.
Forums, finding myself growing increasingly frustrated with the dismissal of Triangle Strategy, with it being referred to as a casual experience.
I didn't know people disliked Triangle Strategy. I didn't know people dissed Triangle Strategy. It's a pretty good game.
So I've just finished spending around 90 hours with Tactics Ogre, beating the game once and doing a little side content to officially try and objectively decide which game is better. With that said, let's dive in.
Okay, let's dive in.
Section 1. Menus.
Tactics Ogre has pretty big maps, by the way.
Menus. The first thing you do when you go to any restaurant is look at the menu. An experience everyone has to go through.
Don't listen to the haters. I will never.
At some point.
I've been getting too much hate recently to listen to haters, okay? Especially under the Asmongold videos. I've been receiving so much hate. Oh my gosh. I've received my baptism by fire when it comes to receiving hatred.
Unless, of course, you're one of the people I deal with on a daily basis that come to my job and ask for everything that isn't on the menu.
100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, 55 pasta.
What I'm trying to say is that menus are very important.
There's some people say objective when they mean without bias, and it's not the same. Yeah, I guess.
And are with you through your entire experience with the game. Well, how are the menus in Tactics Ogre? The most confusing jumbled Excel spreadsheet that I have ever had the mispleasure of fumbling through.
Oh no, I hate that. Oh god. Oof, that's a turn off for me. That is a turn off for me.
I spent like 100 hours with this game and still struggle to navigate through the menus. With all the various character slots and options you can interact with, it can be very easy to get lost. Every unit has item slots, spell slots, class-specific slots, finishing move slots, and not to mention all the regular equipment slots. You're now loaded with the task of keeping track of everything on all units at all times. It may not sound like a lot at first, but when you're cycling through 30 plus units, each with their own crafted by you loadouts, it becomes a bit daunting. I found myself running into issues, for instance, where I would have a battle with zombies, so I decked out my healers with Exorcism and Sanctuary, abilities that are only useful when dealing with the undead. When I finish that battle, I go into the next only to realize I've forgotten to take off their undead-defying abilities.
Uh-oh.
And there's no undead. Now, this shouldn't be an issue, but the game doesn't have the option to restart the battle. Your only option is to reload your last save, which may or may not have been right before the battle. The game does have an autosave feature to help combat this, but I personally...
Well, that's a JRPG. That's the point. Overly complex. Some JRPGs are actually very, very simple. And sweet, like Lunar. Lunar is not a very complex game.
personally didn't find it very forgiving. It was always sending me back...
Which I should buy. I should buy Lunar. I should unironically buy Lunar.
...than I would have preferred. Add in things like having to access the Warren Report constantly to not miss out on extra content, and suddenly navigating this game has become a little bit of a bitch. On the other hand, I found myself appreciating Triangle Strategy's simpler approach to navigating things like the world map and menus. Let's consider for a second that the world map itself is essentially a menu. With Triangle Strategy's world map, you're only able to interact with either the next part of the story or a side story. I can see this being potentially boring for some, but when you take into account that Tactics Ogre has this jambalaya of a world map...
It's basically just like Final Fantasy Tactics, so I don't know. It's whatever to me. I'm used to this.
Your options are either simplicity or just getting plain lost. Not to say that I hated it, but at some point in the game...
Anime fanboys aren't real fanboys, come on.
It did begin to have too many places on the map. This could cause a player to easily become overwhelmed, especially if you zoom out. Unfortunately, the places only have names once you hover over them. I couldn't even tell you all of the countries on Earth's map, let alone this one. Before I end this section, I just want to touch on how the equipment menu in Triangle Strategy works. Every character gets 2 equipment slots, which help keep things simple. The equipment in Triangle Strategy plays more of an augmentation role. For instance, there's the Vanguard Scarf that lets the equipped character go first in battle. This item can be very good for an aggressive strategy or setting up a strong defense. There's also elemental amulets that provide resistance to its corresponding element, or even items that make you immune to status effects. I feel like this...
That's a thing in all games in history. Amulets that protect you from status effects or...
Simplification of the equipment system helps engage the player with focusing on the strategy of combat. Speaking of which, combat. These games are obviously similar in terms of how the combat is handled. However, the games really begin to define themselves as you spend more time with them. We've got the grid-based system with the tiles and the units and the tactics, pretty standard stuff. Both games have a turn order system that places units based on their speed stat, and have turn recovery bonuses based on what actions you did or didn't take during a turn. Why is this spy faster than the man on horseback? I don't know, but what I do know is that I appreciate the fact that when I go to end a character's turn in Triangle Strategy, it shows me where they're going to end up next in a turn order. Not only that, you can number all of the units on the battlefield by turn, making for easier planning. Imagine for a sec, you're playing a strategy...
Okay, Lucy, did you play Mass Effect games? Actually, I have not. I know they're very good, but I have not played them.
Game, and said game has a turn order that...
Except there was one Mass Effect that is considered really bad. I think you have the trilogy, which is good, and then there's the other game that's considered pretty bad.
Involves keeping track of like 25 plus units on the battlefield. Now imagine that game having no way of showing you who's going next past the first 18 units. Well, you don't have to, because Tactics Ogre makes this a reality. This may seem like a nitpick, but it's really not. No.
Andromeda isn't that bad, actually. Oh, yeah, it isn't. I know my best friend really bashed it when he played it.
Knowing when which unit will go plays a huge part in my decision making, and I'd imagine it's the same for most players. An actual nitpick I have is the way that experience points are handled.
Maybe it's because it was just disappointing compared to the trilogy.
It's common in RPGs for players to take their underleveled party members and put them into battles with their stronger allies to level them up faster. Experience is usually awarded to all participants at the end of combat. This works for normal RPGs because the battles don't last very long. For a strategy game, this becomes a bit
It was different on launch with those ridiculous facial expressions. Yeah, I remember those. My best friend showed them to me. It was pretty intense.
more of a problem. The battles are much longer, and as a result, you feel the effects of having a weaker unit in your group more harshly. You have the constant burden of planning around being down a unit and having a liability on the field. The game does try to ease this problem in the form of experience charms. Using one on a unit gives them a set amount of experience points depending on the charm's level. These are nice when you can—
The story as old as time, almost at this point. The game was crap at launch, and then it got patched and patched and patched, and now it's okay.
Get them, but they are—
But the initial stigma remains for a lot of people.
Given out sparingly. As far as I remember, you can only get them two ways. One is if all of the units you deploy meet the current level cap at the end of combat. The extra experience gets turned into charms. It seems to scale up the amount of experience you need each time, I assume to prevent players from farming charms early on. I personally find it kind of annoying to see experience points go wasted like that. The other way to get charms is as a reward for completing battles in the wacky endgame dungeon, the Hanging Gardens. I personally didn't use many charms in my playthrough in case I needed them later. As for triangle strategy, it were a lot simpler. Whenever a unit takes an action in battle, they are granted experience points. This means using an item, attacking enemies, or interacting with allies. All experience granted—
That's basically how it works in Final Fantasy Tactics. You get experience for doing any action in Final Fantasy Tactics.
Based on the unit's current level and the average level of the map. For instance, if you have a unit that's extremely underleveled, like Narv here, he gains a whole level from using Spark because the enemy he attacked is 10 levels higher than him. By the end of this battle, he's almost completely caught up, along with a few other units that I had to level up. This is why I really enjoyed this game's approach to grinding, because it felt efficient. What I could get done grinding for 30 minutes in Triangle Strategy would take me an hour in Tactics Ogre. I think I have a preference for the way experience is handled, possibly due to it being the norm in previous titles I've played. The feeling of having a character level up and learn a new ability on the fly is just so good. Another thing I'd like to talk about is Tactics Ogre's rock, paper, scissors type element system. Wind beats earth, earth beats lightning, you get the idea. What I enjoyed about this is that when you have an elemental advantage along with a class advantage, you can do a shit ton of damage and take a lot less. What would suck is when the boss had an elemental advantage. Aside from using weapon finishers, your disadvantaged units essentially do no damage to them. Speaking of which, I really enjoyed finishers. A lot of finishers came with different elemental properties, adding a bit more depth and flexibility to the combat. Even if you attack—
I have to play this game, although
stronger than yours, if your finishers—
I heard a lot of criticism of the Steam version of Tactics Ogre. How it was reworked compared to the earlier version.
Stronger element, it will do more damage. This comes at the cost of a lot of MP.
So they simplified certain things, they removed the resource thing, they've removed the whole class from the game, apparently for no reason.
It's almost always worth it in a pinch. Along with that, a lot of finishers actually come with status effects that almost always activate on normal enemy units. Characters unlock finishers for every 10 levels they gain in a weapon's proficiency. My Canopus had like 8 finishers. He was putting in work, let me tell you. The finishers were one of the finer points of combat, and I feel the same way about Triangle Strategy in this regard. Deciding to use a character's ultimate move in Triangle Strategy is a huge decision because it costs you a lot of resources in and out of combat. I'll talk about the outside aspect later, but while in combat, most characters' ultimate abilities cost about 4 TP, and to add to that, they're not all just physical attacks. In fact, all of the characters' ultimate abilities are unique to one another. Eridor has one of my favorite ultimate abilities in the game called King's Shield. What it does is taunts all enemies within 2 tiles with a 100% success rate for 1 turn, and until Eridor's next turn, he is immune to all damage. I'm explaining this shit like it's a Magic the Gathering
I don't think I've unlocked any ultimate attacks in Triangle Strategy.
But it's fucking amazing. This ability is great for things like stall tactics or just super tanking everything the enemy can throw at you. I like to pair this ability with an Amulet of Immunity because otherwise Eridor can still be hit with status effects like stun. As far as the quality of battles, both games have good battles with good maps. I honestly felt like Tactics Ogre was more of a mixed bag, but this might be due to the fact that there wasn't a difficulty setting. Early on I remember thinking the battles were easy, then I got to the map with Nybeth, and I was suddenly barely scraping by. The difficulty spikes were jarring, making me feel like the game would have benefited greatly.
Apparently, gamer objective aspects relate less to personal enjoyment. Game's objective aspects, I guess.
From having a difficulty setting. Triangle Strategy has a difficulty setting. In fact, I played it on hard the entire way through, and well, it was fucking hard. The battle's difficulty scaled well, with each one being harder than the last. Triangle Strategy's battles were like going to Smash Burger and getting a nice juicy burger. Sure, it's a little pricey, but hey, they've got nice rosemary fries. Tactics Ogre's battles, on the other hand, were like going to McDonald's. Just about everybody.
Yeah, this review totally is not biased, okay? Oh, this game's gameplay is like going to a fancy restaurant, and this is like going to McDonald's.
Knows and loves McDonald's. They're all over the place. It's fun, but you don't want to eat too much or else you'll get bloated and throw up that spicy McChicken like I always do.
No, so objective.
What I mean to say is Tactics Ogre has combat bloat. With the heavy amount of battles, I felt myself getting burned out, which may have been due to their varying quality. I'd also like to mention that for some reason you can get into random battles with no heads up for a chance to prep or even save for that matter. I could be crossing the map to do some side content.
Same in Final Fantasy Tactics.
And suddenly I have to do some other side content, almost always involving undead. This happens again and again and again. The first time it was a cool novelty. The fourth time it was just downright annoying. I still find myself more fond of Triangle Strategy's approach to battles. Unlike Tactics Ogre, there is no permadeath in Triangle Strategy, but this in no way affects the difficulty of combat. I felt like the battles were overall more
Final Fantasy Tactics also has permadeath.
Satisfying. With Tactics Ogre, the fact that I could revive my units within 3 of their turns took a lot of the tension of permadeath away. I'm sure this is a tricky thing to balance, but I only ever had one unit die permanently, and that's because I forgot to revive him. And I also forgot about the chariot. And I also forgot to save before the battle, so I just didn't think it was worth it to reset. It's just, I feel so locked in before I even start combat. It's like getting into a Pokemon battle with another trainer. There's no getting out of that shit. They won't even care if your grandma's in the hospital.
Permadeath.
I at the very least would have liked an option to restart the battle from the planning phase in case I took the wrong abilities, but I cannot. I wonder if it's because the developers felt like having that option would undercut the chariot system. I'm not sure, I just wish the game had it like Triangle Strategy does. In fact, at any point before
I wonder which game this person likes more, huh? I wonder.
I can make adjustments to my characters, do a little farming if need be, or even visit the shops. Which brings us to the next section. Shops. I still have my gripes about the encampment system, but I will say that I appreciated being able to access a shop at any time. It made a huge difference in my ability to competently prepare for combat. It also gets bonus points for having the in-universe explanation be that the traveling merchants are part of your group, just like Path of Radiance. Tactics Ogre's shops can only be accessed in certain cities. This was a little annoying, but honestly I overall preferred Tactics Ogre's shop system. Surprising, I know. It was a nice, simple, streamlined experience. It was very snappy, responsive, and remembered that it was meant to be a shop. It really outshined Triangle Strategy, especially in the weapon upgrade aspect. Get this, if you were upgrading a weapon and the shop had the materials you needed for upgrade, you had the option to just buy everything you needed for the upgrade all at once. My eyes rolled back in my head from excitement when I saw this feature. I don't know why Jins couldn't just ask Lionel for some iron or have some available. He is a fucking blacksmith after all. All of the items you get in Triangle Strategy have some purpose, which means it's really hard to actually sell anything if you need extra funds. Now there's a bunch of loot in Tactics Ogre. I found it kinda lame at first, but then I realized it was nice being able to have things to sell. Plus, how can you not be put in a good mood when you hear the shopkeep say, "Oh, now there's a familiar face." Both games have extra shops, with Tactics Ogre being the cooler of the two. Triangle Strategy's extra shops are just a random merchant placed in the exploration phase. They sell some unique items, but for prices you likely would struggle to afford on a regular
Every blacksmith carries a bunch of iron on them, obviously. True.
playthrough.
True.
Tactics Ogre has a cool secret shop run by a Weiss named Deneb. She sells rare items that you can't get in a normal shop, and some normal shop items at a discount. Along with all of that, you can actually recruit Deneb into your party. This would be really cool if it didn't require so many ridiculous, tedious steps to unlock her and her special class, which takes us into our next section, units. I'm gonna pick up where I left off, specifically with unit recruitment. In Tactics Ogre, there are some units that are so unbelievably complicated to recruit. I mean, just look at it. Dear Lord, are you seeing this shit right now? This is just one character. I'm convinced I would have an easier
Calm down.
I'm learning how to jump rope while riding a unicycle and being punched in the stomach
Jump rope, it's not whatever.
repeatedly. At least with that,
Jump
there'd be a
roping is
clear
not
path of
complicated.
progression. Now, this isn't the only ridiculously difficult character to recruit. In fact, there are many more. This one just stood out to me the most. Along with that, you can miss recruiting characters by razor-thin margins, which I only know because I was looking at a guide at times and fucked up. It was kind of frustrating, but I will at least recognize this problem is resolved with an in-game feature that you unlock once you beat the game. In Triangle Strategy, there are 6, technically 7, story recruitable characters.
I never could do it. You never could carry iron as a blacksmith?
You'll only be able to get 2 of them in one playthrough. As for the other recruitable characters, they become available based on your conviction stats. Conviction is just an invisible stat that's measured based on how you play the game. When you meet certain conviction thresholds, you're able to access a character's story and recruit them. My only complaint about this is that there is a clear missed opportunity for a battle to be attached to recruiting the character. They could have accomplished world building and encouraged the player to use the new unit by showing them how they work in a battle scenario, instead of just adding it to the party for you to try later. Even if it were to take place of mental mock battles, I still feel like it would have been
I mean, it's still not complicated. You just jump.
Overall, green units. Green units. Let me tell you, green units overstay their welcome in Tactics Ogre, but overall have better AI than Triangle Strategies. Unless that green unit is Vice, in which case he'll run it down at the enemy. I really dislike that a majority of Tactics Ogre is spent with a guest unit in your party that you cannot control. It really puts a burden on my strategic planning because of course I'm doing my best to not let them die, but when I can't control their actions, it makes that really hard. In my mind, they're just taking up space I could have had for another unit. Thankfully, Triangle Strategy's green units are given higher stats to compensate for them being green. Dragan has an insane 5 movement as a mage, Exam has high defenses, and Maxwell is just over-leveled. As for the classes, Triangle Strategy takes a unique approach with each character essentially being their own class while filling an archetype. For example, Serenoa is a basic lord, but he excels at control, with his ability to delay turns, attack from unique angles, and split the damage.
Basic lord.
You find yourself having a fighter capable of setting up great defensive positions.
What a thing to say.
The fact that you're
You're
forced
just
to
a
use
basic
different characters
lord.
and can't just stack
Base
the strongest
lord.
class means that you have to make the best of each character's abilities. There is some customization to be had, and both games have a wide array for you to choose from. In Tactics Ogre case, it's like I mentioned before with all the spells and items. For Triangle Strategy, each character has a unique upgrade chart that you use materials you collect during the game in order to make them stronger. I know some people didn't enjoy the resource management aspect of Triangle Strategy, but I love it. I feel like it adds a fun extra layer to the game. A player would never be able to get enough materials to fully upgrade all of their units on one playthrough. This made me think about who and what I would upgrade a lot more. For instance, do I want to use my one silver to upgrade Serenoa or Roland's weapon? If I upgrade Serenoa's, do I want to use the quality iron I have to upgrade his Hawk Dive's range, or would I rather give him 5 extra damage? These minor tweaks really affect how your battles play out and open up more flexibility to the ways you can approach them. Kinda like a survival horror game. All of this makes me wish there was an option for New Game Plus, but where it starts you back at level 1 with all of the
What a weird
materials from
comparison.
the last playthrough. I might be in the minority, but I feel like a
What
fresh
happened,
hardware
Greater Rank?
save is harder than a New Game Plus playthrough. Before I end this section, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite units from Tactics Ogre, Lindor. Even in a fantasy world full of magic beasts, skeletons, and demons, there remains the uncontested equalizer, gun.
You should play a game of my choosing.
Seriously,
Okay,
Fuse
choose
Player
a game.
class is insanely strong and fun.
But I
He
wanna
just
watch a
shoots
video
things
about
and does
Ukraine.
big damage. You have to have a clear shot because line of sight is
By
considered,
lunatics.
but he does have an ability that lets him shoot through walls. This really helps him pick off those annoying backline targets. The only downside was that he was extremely slow, but that was remedied with my second favorite class, the Fairy. I love this little thing pretty much because all of its unique abilities revolve around kissing stuff. I'm serious. Selfless kiss, coquettish kiss, lingering kiss. My personal favorite was the lingering kiss because it's really strong and the description is hilarious. A short-range ability that plants a passionate kiss on a single target, splitting the caster's HP with them and reducing their RT to 0, allowing them to act immediately.
Kindergarten, huh?
She would just follow Lindell around on the battlefield, giving him
The
sloppy
wild
kisses.
game.
Weirded everyone out. However, it did give him the power
Why
to put
lunatic?
atonement in a
You're
bullet
gonna
and send the
see.
final boss
I'm gonna
back to
see. You're
hell,
gonna
so
see.
who am I to complain? These two games provide experiences that are very similar, but also very different. If I had to pick, I would obviously choose Triangle Strategy.
It's the same channel that claims that antidepressants are responsible for mass shootings. Oh, and being trans. So there you go. That's why lunatics.
Because I enjoyed the long cutscenes, the character designs were appealing to me, they were easy to tell apart, and things felt very distinct. The maps also provided a bigger challenge as far as employing tactics and making me think. Tactics Ogre starts off strong, but after a certain point it starts to feel like a slog, and I think that's what I find most interesting about these two games. One starts off admittedly painfully slow and picks up gradually without
Okay, but
stopping
why
as
watch
you play,
lunatics?
while the other starts off
Because
strong, then
those
slowly starts to
lunatics
taper off.
have 3 million subscribers. So they're not nobodies, and they peddle horrible beliefs about Ukraine and statehood in general. And it just makes me wanna cry. So I'm gonna watch
off
it.
towards the end. Some people appreciate a good slow burn, while the others only need a good first impression. At the end of the day, both of
If
these
it was
games
a lunatic with 5 viewers, then I would ignore it. But if it's a lunatic with 3.7 million subscribers, then Lucy will be their stream tomorrow, maybe.
are good. As far as determining which one is better, I can only say that it'll boil down to personal taste, or maybe whichever one got to you first. So what about you? Have you played both games, and if so, which one do you think is better? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below.
Bonus section. I'm gonna go to
When
the
I first
toilet.
started working on this, it was because some shitheads on the internet were bad-mouthing one of my favorite games over this Ogre title. Come to find out, fans of the Ogre games do this every time a new strategy game comes out. Unicorn Overlord came out not too long ago, and I've just been loving it.
Okay.
Bought the Monarchs edition and have been sinking a lot of my free time into it.
Okay.
So I'm on Reddit just enjoying the community when I see this shit. Another fucking person shilling another fucking Ogre title.
Okay, I don't really spend play games instead of spending time on Reddit. Jesus Christ. Just play games. I don't understand this weird whatever.
This time, Ogre Battle 64. It's as if these same people are waiting in the wings for their opportunity to tell you about this 20-something-year-old game franchise. And you know what? I guess I'll play that one too.
Okay, I'll go to the toilet now. That was something. I'll be right back, and then we're gonna watch the lunatics, I guess. Or I'm gonna check something. What? Uh-oh. Oh boy. Uh-oh. The land swap that wasn't. Inside Trump's frantic dash for Ukraine peace. Uh-oh. Wilkov startled allies with account of Russian offer they add. Okay. I guess we're gonna read this. This is interesting. Witkoff's report. Real estate magnate. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. It was kind of boring. What was kind of boring? Because you're not a real gamer and you don't play either of these tactic games, okay? That's why it was boring. You're boring. You're boring. Okay? Exactly. Be right back. I let Fido back into the house and there was a lot of emotions and I had to hug him and do stuff. The comparison, I'm not a real anything, what? What do you mean? Are you saying you're fake? You're a faker? Oh, why am I even putting this on? Well, before we do the whole thing on Witkoff and Russia, I went to the doctors and I got my prescription and stuff like that. So that's a thing. That happened. Wrong president, but wrong president in the thumbnail, but okay. I'll accept it. I'll accept that fake Kyle Parker does not know who is the president of Poland right now. You are a faker? Like Sonic. Alright. The land swap that wasn't inside Trump's frantic dash for Ukraine peace. Well, the frantic dash has been going on for 8 months now. The frantic dash that was supposed to be concluded in 24 hours before even taking office in 100 days. The frantic dash that was supposed to be so amazing. And Witkoff, the instrument of this mad dash going to its conclusion. It was supposed to be glorious. It was supposed to be an amazing and cool land swap. Do you remember about the land swap? It was supposed to be a thing. Do you remember? Trump-Putin diplomatic efforts mired in confusion, sources say. No way. No way there's confusion about these talks. No way that... But I've been told that so much ground has been covered. I've been told that an impasse has been broken. I was told that Trump has done so much good when it comes to Ukraine. Are you saying that I've been lied to? Are you saying that Trump has actually not achieved much? That's not possible. That sounds like fake news to me. Witkoff startled allies with account of Russian offer, they add. Because Witkoff is an incompetent buffoon. Okay. Trump relies on trusted advisors and instincts in push for peace, which probably explains why we are where we are. Washington, August 28th, Reuters. Shortly after meeting Vladimir Putin in Moscow on August 6th, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, who should be fired from his position immediately after all the blunders that he has. Wasn't he using Russian translators during those meetings? Steve Witkoff delivered major news to Donald Trump. The Russian president was prepared to offer significant territorial concessions to end his war in Ukraine. That turned out to be total nonsense. That turned out to be a total lie. Mr. Witkoff just misunderstood some joke or something. It was pathetic. It was very silly to witness. Following Witkoff's readout to the US president, described by two people briefed on the matter, Trump hailed his emissary's great progress and agreed to hold a historic summit with Putin, indicating that a land swap was on the table. The Reuters Daily Briefing newsletter provides blah, 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 blah. I was so pathetic. I still remember. But the diplomatic drive soon descended into confusion. Yeah, because Witkoff does not know what he's doing. And when he actually achieved something, he just misunderstood, okay? He's just not a very smart boy, and therefore he was played by the Russians. And he came back, he said, the Russians said this, and then Russia said, no, we did not say that at all. That is absolutely not what we said. On On an August 7th call with several European leaders, Witkoff indicated that Putin was willing to withdraw from the Ukrainian regions of Zaporizhia and Kherson in return for Kyiv ceding Donetsk and Luhansk, according to a source familiar with the exchange. Let us be free says. Territorial concessions? You mean Russia giving up part of its land for Ukraine, right? No. That would be an actual swap, but no. Of course not. When people say swap, they mean Russia taking a bunch of Ukrainian territory in exchange, and this is the swap, for not taking even more Ukrainian territory. We're swapping your territory for your territory. Brilliant. The proposal startled many of those on the call, since it departed sharply from their own assessments of Putin's position, set for people with knowledge of the discussions, including US and European officials, who requested anonymity to discuss sensitive matters. Artful deal, yeah. The art of the deal. Brilliant. Witkoff appeared to change his account the next day in a call convened by US Secretary of State Marco Rubio with European national security advisors. The envoy said Putin was not in fact offering to withdraw from the two territories in question, according to one of the sources, because Witkoff is an idiot and he just misunderstood, okay? He just misunderstood what was being said to him. Poor little bean. Maybe it's just 4D chess. Maybe it's just some political maneuvering. Instead, US officials indicated on the call Putin had signaled lesser concessions to Washington, including that he would not demand the West formally recognize Zaporizhia and Kherson as Russian, said a separate US official. Wow. How generous. That is nice of Mr. Vladimir. That is really nice of him. I think Witkoff should get a promotion, actually. I think he should get a pay rise, and I think he should get a medal. Reuters couldn't independently determine what was said in the Moscow meeting. Witkoff, a real estate magnate with no background in diplomacy. Oh, that is a great background. Those are such great credentials for brokering the biggest war in Europe since World War II. That is brilliant. Definitely for negotiations of this magnitude, you need a person with zero background in diplomacy. Brilliant. Broke with standard protocol by going to the meeting without a State Department note taker, and thus left without a record of Putin's precise proposals, said one source with knowledge of internal administration dynamics. Yeah, this is totally what happened. You're gonna have to take my word for it, because I have no record, because I'm an idiot. I have created no record of this conversation because, trust me, trust my memory on this, please. Please trust my brilliant mind. I remember exactly how it went. What? This cannot be true. Oh my gosh. Him having no experience makes him unpredictable, leaves room for disruption and innovation, says an entropy fan. Of course. Well, we've started. You know what? We've had both things. We had disruption. The only problem is that he disrupted the European Union leaders. We had disruption because One day he said one thing, the second day he said a totally different thing. So that's disruption. And we also had innovation because he created no record of the conversation. So yeah, we indeed had both. This is... Where was I? Ah, yes. Said one source with knowledge of internal administration dynamics. Interviews with more than a dozen US and European officials flesh out the Trump administration's latest push to end the war in Ukraine, which culminated in the anticlimactic Trump-Putin summit in Alaska on August 15th that saw the leaders exchange warm words, but no peace agreement. Wow, I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised we are not at peace now. The picture that emerges from the interviews is of an American president willing to move quickly on some foreign policy decisions, relying more on confidence and instinct than the traditional diplomatic channels and deliberative process typical of most prior administrations. Out of the deal. Trump's supporters say his approach has yielded breakthroughs unimaginable under his predecessor, variously citing the opening of US relations with the new Syrian government, the bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities, and the establishment of a direct line to Putin that could end a war that has killed hundreds of thousands of people. We're not seeing this war end. We're just seeing it continue. Russia is still bombing Ukraine every single day. So, yet his seat of the pan style has also created confusion within the administration and among allies, critics argue. And despite the summit, the Ukrainian war is no closer to conclusion, said Kurt Volker, a former US ambassador to NATO, who served a US special representative for Ukraine in Trump's first term. Wait, hold on. How can the war not be any closer to ending? I've been told by so many Asmongold fans that Trump has pushed peace talks so much forward, that we have made so much progress. Are you saying they lied to me? That cannot be true. That cannot be true. Lettuce. He also destroyed any alliances America had. Europe no longer sends mail to America. Everyone ridicules them. Poland still does. Poland, you can still send parcels to America from Poland. I saw the list. I saw the list of the countries from which you cannot send parcels anymore. Poland's not on it. That's true, but that's not convenient to the narrative. That is true. Guys, here we go. Yeah, good luck paying $80 for every parse. True. Yet his seat on the blah 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 blah. Okay. No collision to conclusion. We're just exactly where we were before Trump took office. No, that's a lie, okay? That is not true. We are actually not exactly where we were before Trump took office. That is, yeah, I know what that you meant parcel. We are not where we were before Trump took office. Do you know why? Before Trump took office, Russia was a diplomatically isolated country. Now it is no longer, especially after the Alaska summit. Now there's an open channel. Now Russia is back on the international stage, baby. It's just, the situation is definitely not the same as it was before. Volker added, Russia has not changed its position one iota. The war is raging on. We don't have a clear strategy of how to get Putin to stop the war. Yeah, the situation has gotten worse than before. Like, that is such a bad statement. That is such a... that it's the same. If only the situation was the same as it was before. The White House, which did not address specific episodes described in this story, defended Trump's broad foreign policy and compared his record favorably to his predecessor. Joe Biden's weak administration didn't understand foreign policy, and his traditional process allowed Russia to invade Ukraine, said Anna Kelly, a White House spokeswoman. Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course, that is the case. In contrast, world leaders have affirmed that President Trump made more progress towards peace in 2 weeks than Joe Biden did in 3.5 years. What progress? What progress has been made? I want quotation. I want a specific list of things that Trump has achieved. And I don't mean in favor of Russia, okay? Because if we're talking in favor of Russia, then sure. I will admit that when it comes to supporting and helping Russia, Trump indeed has made more progress towards that than Joe Biden in 3.5 years. Yes, I can agree there. A Russian missile and drone onslaught across Ukraine early on Thursday, which included the second biggest bombardment of Kyiv of the war with those weapons, drove home the lack of progress in Trump's peace drive. His special envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, denounced the attacks as egregious. By the way, Russia said that they didn't want to talk to Kellogg. I guess they knew what they were doing when they decided that they want Witkoff instead. He pretended that he had something to do with the India-Pakistan thing, says Lettuce. Yeah. He does like to take credit. His special envoy, Kellogg, denounced the attacks. He said on X that they threatened the peace the president is pursuing. Some U.S. officials, including Kellogg, had been frustrated with that Witkoff, after his Moscow meeting, had introduced conflicting new information into the discussion at that time when the U.S. was finally adopting a firmer line on Russia, said a U.S. official and the source familiar with administration dynamics. Before the Moscow meeting, the Trump administration had indicated the president would hit Russia with new sanctions, good luck, or tariffs, good luck on that, on August 8th if Putin did not agree to end his war in Ukraine, a deadline that came and went. Yeah, that was not going to happen. The State Department, which handles public affairs for Rubio, Witkoff, and Kellogg, said those three officials were in lockstep in implementing Trump's America First foreign policy, which means screw everybody. Any claim otherwise is untrue and unproductive, said Tommy Pigott, the Temperament's principal deputy spokesperson, which is very interesting considering that it now became a meme that Trump's presidency hurts Ukraine, first of all, and the second place that it hurts the most is the US. America first. A separate spokesman for Kellogg reiterated that position, saying he and Witkoff have a close working relationship and were in regular contact. Okay, Witkoff should be fired. Witkoff should have been fired after this fiasco of conflicting information. Why do they even keep him around? Oh, I know, because he's a super loyal bootlicker of Trump. That is why. The Ukrainian and Russian embassies in Washington did not respond to requests for comment. Transatlantic confusion reigns. Trump's reliance on trusted advisors like Witkoff has been accompanied by an aggressive purge of the U.S. national security establishment and the firing of or reassignment of Russia and Ukraine experts at the Pentagon, State Department, and National Security Council. Curious. Witkoff, a close friend of Trump's, has won praise for his work ethic. Yeah, his incompetence, you mean. His work ethic of not even having his own translators for the meetings with Russia and not creating a record of the conversation. But some US and European officials worry that the Russians are taking advantage of his lack of experience at the negotiating table. Reuters has previously reported. In the hours following Witkoff's August 6 Moscow meeting, both he and Trump indicated they believed a breakthrough occurred. Okay, Trump always indicates a breakthrough occurred. Every single phone conversation with Putin, he would indicate that a breakthrough occurred. Every single pointless meeting that he had, he would say that great progress or a great breakthrough has been made. Those words are meaningless when they come from Trump. The next day, Trump said he could soon meet with the Russian leader, while later saying that swapping of territories would be needed to end the war. This alarmed European officials who feared that a more lenient US policy toward Putin under Trump could force the Ukrainians to make painful concessions to end the conflict that began with Russia's seizure of Crimea in 2014 and intensified with its full-scale invasion in 2022. The Europeans spent the following days trying to determine from their American counterparts precisely what Putin said to Witkoff, according to several US and European officials. Some senior US officials, including Kellogg and Rubio, were also initially in the dark about some details of the Witkoff meeting, according to a US official, and the source familiar with administration dynamics who did not provide additional details. I love how Trump's cabinet's whole strategy for foreign policy and negotiation is fire anybody that knows what they're talking about, fire anybody with experience, and just bring in people that have real estate experience and non-experience in negotiation whatsoever. What a recipe for success. Even as some European officials publicly praised Trump for his diplomatic efforts, many were privately concerned. Ukrainian officials told senior German officials on August 13th that their intelligence indicated Putin planned to use the summit with Trump to play for time ahead of a potential Russian offensive in October or November, according to a German source with knowledge of the warning. The German government declined to provide additional details. Trump will be left with no choice. Trump's August 15th summit with Putin in Anchorage yielded no obvious advances. He had already lowered expectations in the days leading up to the meeting, portraying it as one step in a diplomatic process rather than an opportunity to strike a deal. Yeah, that is true, lettuce. The US president did not make any territorial concessions on Ukraine's behalf, though came out of the meeting saying a temporary ceasefire was not a precondition for a lasting peace. He actually said, I don't need a ceasefire, and I didn't need it for any other negotiation that I did before. A position held by Putin, but not by most European leaders. European allies immediately began strategizing how to influence Trump's next move. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who was due to meet Trump in Washington on August 18th, asked European leaders over the weekend to join him, according to a German government spokesperson. The leaders debated whether to go with Zelensky in an effort to avert a fiasco like the Oval Office showdown in February, where Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance berated the Ukrainian leader, according to the two European sources, something that some big political commentators have mocked as ridiculous, that the European leaders would accompany Zelensky in order to have his back. Well, whatever. Ultimately, the August 18th meeting was a success, signaling renewed US-European cooperation. Several European... I don't see it as a success, quite honestly. I think that nothing of note was accomplished during that meeting, but whatever. Several European diplomats told Reuters just last year on the campaign trail, Trump had encouraged Russia to attack NATO allies that did not pay their fair share on defense. The most material agreement, Trump and European leaders agreed to formally draft the contours of a future security guarantees for Ukraine. In recent days, foreign ministers and military officials have held calls to determine the role each country would play in that effort. Still, an end to the war seems distant. They really do just let anyone run for office. Yes, that is true. Welcome back, Red Ruse. Russian officials, including Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, have made clear they will not accept any Ukrainian security guarantees which see foreign troops in Ukraine. While Trump had called for a meeting between Putin and Zelensky, Moscow has said such a summit is unlikely in the short term because they need more time. They need more time to push forward. They need more time to bomb more civilians. Of course they do. Volker, the former Trump envoy, expressed optimism that Trump will ultimately put heavy pressure on Putin to change his stance via tougher economic sanctions and military support for Ukraine. He won't. I'm not optimistic about that. I am a realist about that. I think that Trump is the embodiment of that Churchill quote where you can always count on the Americans to do the right thing after they've exhausted all the other possible alternatives. Trump is really going to be left no choice. I don't think so. I don't think he will, actually. I think that he will always feel that he has options left. So that is just wishful thinking, in my opinion. It's just fantasy thinking. But what do you think? What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What is your opinion on this? Your opinions. Where is it made? No. Wrong point. This, yes. What do you think? Oh, weird. What a drop in viewership. It was so weird. All right. What do you think? Any thoughts? What is strange? What happened? What is strange? What happened? I just saw in chat, huh? Strange and confusion. What happened? What? What time is it? Just messing? Let's watch a bit of a VOD. Crazy VOD. Before I retire to bed. Or something. Predictable. MAGA is treating foreign policy like a walk in the park while giving Russia everything. True. Well, watch this channel that has 3 million subs talk about Ukraine. Brilliant. I discovered them yesterday or something when discussing the shooting. So.
Well, here's what's happening right now in Ukraine, and it is.
So this is them talking about Ukraine.
Bad news for NATO. Russian forces have pushed further into Ukraine's Dnipropetrovsk region, marking the 8th region that they're about to take control over. Colonel McGregor revealed to us yesterday on the show.
Yeah, I did it yesterday. I am doing a segment. I'm cutting it up into a segment.
Show that Russian special forces have now entered in Odessa, and they have been targeting strikes against military installations and infrastructure. If they occupy Odessa, of course, what does that mean? That means Ukraine becomes a landlocked country with no seaports, and that means Ukraine effectively ceases to be a real country.
So, putting aside the ridiculous claim that Odessa is on the brink of being occupied, okay, that alone is just stupid to me. Saying that if Ukraine loses its port and access to the sea, that it would stop being a real country. Like, listen to this again. This video has how many views? How many views does this video have? This is the part that I really wanted to showcase. 326,000 views, 2.74 million subscribers. Listen to this again.
And that means Ukraine becomes a landlocked country with no seaports, and that means Ukraine effectively ceases to be a real country.
If Ukraine loses its port, it becomes a landlocked country, which means it effectively will stop being a real country. Okay, let's play ball. Let's play ball. List of countries with no access to sea, aka list of fake countries, list of the not real countries. Landlocked country. Because yeah, I guess that's a thing now. I guess landlocked countries are just not real countries, I guess. List of landlocked countries and landlocked de facto states. Country: Afghanistan, Andorra, Armenia, Austria, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Bhutan, Bolivia, Botswana, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Central African Republic, Chad, Czech Republic, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Hungary, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, Kyrgyzstan, Laos, Lesotho, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Malawi, Mali, Moldova, Mongolia, Nepal, Niger, North Macedonia, Paraguay, or maybe it's Niger. What did you cover today? I covered Witkov's incompetence. Transnistria, Rwanda, San Marino, Serbia, Slovakia, South Ossetia, South Sudan, Switzerland, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uganda, Uzbekistan, Vatican City, Zambia, Zimbabwe. There we go. All these countries are fake. These are all fake countries, okay? I did not say the N-word, so. Okay. Thank you. See, an Entropy fan came in a you call it, in a pinch to save me. So these are fake countries. Okay, according to this guy. Maybe. Let me look. Let me look up the country. No, I'm afraid that's just how you would read it in Polish, the way that I read it. That is how you read it. It even says not to be mistaken with the N-word, so yeah, it's just that is how you read it in Polish. Hey, but I'm Polish, I'm not French. There you go. I used the Polish pronunciation. Oh, okay. Okay. Alright, let's continue watching the video of the guy.
And then this.
Yeah. So in any event, those are all fake countries. So if Ukraine loses the sport, it's game over. Ukraine is no longer a country.
Yes, Reuters revealing that NATO and Western partners are crafting military options ranging from a no-fly zone to air defense systems that they're going to be sending in. Of course, I think you have the head of the British Air Force, you have the head of the British Army in Ukraine today, meeting there. Like, once again, like, how many more missile systems? What else can you be throwing into this mess right now? So
what? What the hell do you mean? Ukraine is in constant need of anti-air missile systems.
So they have security.
Oh, the context is this statement. Hold on, listen to this.
I think you have the no-fly means Ukraine. That means the installation entered in Odessa.
So the context is that this far-right lunatic is claiming that Odessa is just days away from being conquered, and once Ukraine loses Odessa, it will become a landlocked country and it will have no access to the sea, and that will mean that Ukraine will de facto cease being a real country, which she is about to say.
And they have been targeting strikes against military.
Yes, I am.
Military installations and infrastructure. If they occupy Odessa, of course, what does that mean? That means Ukraine becomes a landlocked country with no seaports, and that means Ukraine effectively ceases to be a real country. And
there you go. There you have it. Landlocked countries are not real countries. You've heard it here first.
Yes, Reuters.
So that is the context for that search. Thank you.
NATO and Western partners are crafting military options ranging from a no-fly zone to air defense systems that they're going to be sending in. Of course, I think you have the head of the British Air Force, you have the head of the British Army in Ukraine today, meeting there. Like, once again, like, how many more missile systems? What else can you be throwing into this mess right now? So they have security advisors flying into Ukraine still from the NATO side. So a no-fly zone over Ukraine, yeah, that's going to go well. That would mean NATO is officially at war with Russia, among other things. Meanwhile, right now across Europe, there's growing realization that the continent must shoulder more responsibility in this war. European leaders are saying now that they need to independently defend Ukraine and deter aggression.
Okay.
They can't count on the United States anymore.
I mean, no, not under Trump. I don't think anybody can actually depend on the United States under Trump. Not just Ukraine, not just Europe. I don't think the United States can depend on the United States under Trump, actually.
And then Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, says
Oh my God, Steve Witkoff. Oh, I hate that guy with a passion. I hate Steve Witkoff. Such an incompetent buffoon. My goodness, I hate that man. I actually hate that man so much.
agreement will likely be on the table by Christmas. Christmas, really? We have to wait. Says a peace agreement will likely be on the table by Christmas.
Yeah, I don't believe a word that Witkoff says. Whatever Witkoff says, actually you can assume the opposite. Or you can ask a follow-up. Christmas what year?
Really? We have to wait that long for peace? 40,000 people? I mean, how many more people are going to die by Christmas time until we can get a peace agreement in place?
We get a peace agreement? We?
CIA analyst and outspoken NATO critic and friend of the show, Larry Johnson, just penned a new piece on his website, Sonar 21, about how
Sonar 21.
NATO is losing this war badly, but it's much worse than all
Okay, that's a very weird thing to say.
Of that. And Larry Johnson joins us today from Florida. Larry, great to see you. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, well, okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see what he has to say. Oof.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see Natalie. Usually it's just you and me. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought the...
That was awkward. That was awkward as hell.
Half you. Good to see Natalie. Usually it's just you and me. So, yeah. Hey, good to see you. Good to see...
What the hell is this facial?
See Natalie. Usually it's just you and me. So...
What the fuck is this?
Oh.
Oh my god, that is so awkward. Oh my god. Hilarious.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought the better half with you today.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, it always elevates the show when she's around. It lowers it when I'm around.
Body language. Oh my god. She is so uncomfortable. Oh my god. They have interesting dynamics. I know.
Larry, great to see you.
Oh my god.
When she's around. It lowers it when I'm around. Larry, great to see you. So,
oh, brilliant. Brilliant.
You know, you've been doing some incredible writing, and I want to say
incredible.
What you've been doing,
incredible,
highlighting. The mainstream media is totally ignoring this.
Yeah, of course, of course.
All in, whether it's the BBC, CNN, it doesn't really matter. But most of the European press is fully on board with like rearming NATO, making sure that NATO has enough weapons to be able to funnel into Ukraine. Advisors have been flying into Kiev.
Kiev. The pronunciation says it all.
With Zelensky on a regular basis, and you made the point in this new piece that NATO is losing badly. Can you talk about some just on the battlefield?
Yeah, I want to listen. Why NATO is losing badly, even though NATO is not even whatever.
Specifically, both military and economically here, what we're looking at from NATO's side.
Well,
from NATO's side, it's not even Ukraine fighting anymore. It's NATO. It's NATO's side. NATO's.
Well, Donald Trump the other day tweet that the fault of Biden was that he forced the Ukrainians to always be on the defensive, except that wasn't true. We go back to September of 2022 when the Ukrainians launched a counteroffensive against Russian positions, and the Russians basically had they had no military presence to speak of, just some border police, where they were driven out of the northern part of Kherson, which is north of the Donbass. Then in June of 2023, they launched another counteroffensive, and in the process, they lost between an estimated 100,000 to 200,000 soldiers in a failed counterattack that was completely planned and directed by U.S. military commanders.
Yeah, who gave I've heard all about it. I've heard all about the planning of the US commanders that gave Ukrainian soldiers instructions only that was only able to be what's the word? Those commands were only executable if Ukraine would have equipment that it did not have. Air superiority, among other things, and many other things that Ukraine simply did not have. But the US commanders simply gave tactics and strategies to Ukraine as if they did have those things. That is partially why the counteroffensive had failed. Okay? Useless advice. Yes, it was useless advice. It was actually more than useless advice. It was actually counterproductive advice. And then I also heard from various journalists on the ground that there were problems with the counteroffensive, with lack of coordination, lack of proper coordination between different types of units, between artillery and other types of units. No, he's talking about the second one. He already stopped talking about the first one. Now he's talking about the 2023 one. Listen.
Completely 200,000 counteroffensives driven out of the northern part of Kherson, which is north of the Donbass. Then in June of 2023...
See, then in June 2023. There's several reasons why that one failed. And it all paints a picture.
They launched another counteroffensive, and in the process, they lost between an estimated 100,000 to 200,000 soldiers in a failed counterattack that was completely planned and directed by U.S. military commanders, General Cavoli, among others, sitting in Stuttgart or Wiesbaden. Then in August 2024, Ukraine again launched.
Yeah, the second one was a combined arms one without the arms, exactly. And even when they did the combined arms one, there was a problem of lack of proper coordination. Like there would be a first wave of attack, and there would be a very big delay before a follow-up with the other types of arms. It was apparently a big mess. Unrelated, but do you know some people from Donetsk to interview or something? Or Donbass overall? I mean, the girl that I interviewed, who's the girl... You know the short that I uploaded, right? With the girl speaking in English that was talking about how Trump and Putin are deciding the future of her country. She's from Donetsk. I interviewed her. We actually talked at length about how people from the Donetsk region are a little bit discriminated in the rest of Ukraine. It was a mess because they didn't have air support. Yeah, I said that the tactics that the US commanders proposed, one of the necessary components for those tactics to work was air superiority, which Ukraine absolutely did not have. But you know, whatever. But yes, I did interview people from Donetsk. Meanwhile, the successful Kherson was on a series of light charges and encirclements.
Launched another offensive into Kursk, and that led to the deaths of 80,000 Ukrainian soldiers. So what we've seen is this repeated pattern where Ukraine is incapable of mounting successful offensives and holding that territory. Russia has pushed back in every single one of those instances. And what's going on right now...
Yeah, because Russia has more reliable allies than Ukraine. Let's be honest about that. Do you know how much of Russia's artillery is supplied by North Korea now? Do you... give me a number. Percentage. How, without looking it up. How big of a percentage of artillery comes from North Korea that Russia uses? Go. Give me an estimate. My guess is 5%. Who? That's not a good guess. That is not a good guess. 40%. Okay, 60%. Incub wins is 40%. 40% of Conrad also wins. It's 40%. 40% of Russian artillery is being provided by North Korea at this point. So Conrad and Incub both win my respect, which is the greatest reward that you can win in life. Damn, Kim got it like that? Yeah, he got it like that. Actually, the North Korean economy is a big winner in this war. Yeah, North Korean economy has been gifted a big boost over this war.
Is what started off in February of 2022 with Russia having about 175,000 soldiers in their offensive into the start of the special military operation. And they were outnumbered.
Also, calling the war a special military operation also tells me everything that I need about the biases of the speaker. If I hear special military operation, if I hear Kiev or any other of those keywords, I already know what sort of commentary I will be dealing with. I mean, North Korea doesn't have much spending apart from the military, so it shouldn't be that surprising. I mean, that's not the surprising part. The surprising and disappointing part is the fact that Russia has more reliable partners / allies than Ukraine. Oh yeah, that's another thing that actually changed, by the way, due to this war. That North Korea has been granted its GDP boost.
About 5-1 by the Ukrainian forces. We now, 3.5 years later, have seen those numbers flip. So that Russia has right now about 650,000 trained soldiers.
But to be fair, the discrepancy between Ukrainian and Russian artillery is actually getting smaller. It is not as huge as it used to be.
Experienced personnel that have had a minimum 3 to 4 months of training all on the front lines, all along the line of contact from the Sumy region in the north down to Odessa in the south. Whereas Ukraine its army is right now estimated to be about 350 to 400,000.
I'm pretty sure it's more than that.
The lopsided losses that Western propagandists continue to lie about what Russia's experienced and ignore the true cost for Ukraine.
Nobody's ignoring the human cost for Ukraine. I hate it when people like this take very public facts and try to pretend that it's somehow hidden by the Western propaganda media and spin it as some conspiracy.
In the most recent exchange of bodies where Russia turns over the dead Ukrainians that it has captured or taken possession of, and Ukraine does the same with Russian soldiers, Russia received 19 dead Russian soldiers. Russia, in turn, delivered 1,000.
19... No, it was an equal exchange. That's not true. Let's Google it. Let's fact check it. I'm gonna type it out as he said it, okay? I'm not up to the current data, to be honest. The Moscow Times. The Kyiv Independent. Uh, how many Russian bodies? Al Jazeera. There's this. This is the only source that I can find for this. Al Jazeera. But no other. The Moscow Times is not a source for me, okay? On August 19th.
Ukrainian dead. So it's a 20-to-1 ratio. For every one Russian soldier that's dying, there are 20 Ukrainian soldiers dying. And
I need a source for that. I actually need a source for that.
What we see taking place, the demographic changes taking place inside Ukraine.
Because that sounds like bullshit to me.
Are horrific. What used to be a country of about 42 million people is now down to about 28 million. And they
No, what?
Simply don't have the manpower to
Okay, that I'm gonna call bullshit on that as well.
sustain these kinds of losses. Excuse me.
Well, just yesterday.
What is he implying? That over 10 million Ukrainian people have been killed?
Steve Witkoff, the envoy to the Middle East, who is also negotiating this peace deal, said, well, we expect to have some
Yeah, Witkoff. We're really going to count on Witkoff to tell us what's up.
kind of peace deal by the end of the year. And I felt really frustrated by that language because we continue to come here and
I felt really frustrated by that language.
We're being breadcrumbed. Like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe that's going to happen. And we keep getting this posturing while you just pointed out people are dying.
Wow, they sure care about those deaths.
What do we need to happen between now and the holidays?
Simply listen to the Russians. Listen to what.
Yeah, listen to the Russians. That's always a recipe for success. Simply listen to the Russians. Just give up the Ukrainian territory. Give up all of Ukraine. In fact, you know what? As a bonus, give Russia Lithuania and Poland. You know? That's the recipe for peace. Just listen to Russia. What the fuck?
What they're saying. They're in Roger's thesaurus, they're going to enter a new synonym for the term sycophant. Witkoff. I mean, the kind of sucking up that he does to Donald Trump is just really disgusting. And it's embarrassing. Well,
Okay, I'm going to have to look this guy up, Larry Johnson, because this is sickening. Larry Johnson Wiki. American blogger. Okay. I think this is the guy. Johnson worked at the CIA for 4 years as an analyst, then moved to the United States Department's Office of Counterterrorism. In 1993, Johnson left government work to join the private sector, going on to build a dual career as a business consultant and a pundit on intelligence issues. a left-winger, supposedly. Not much of this guy. There's not really much available on this guy.
The Russians have been very clear what their conditions are. Vladimir Putin laid it out on June 4th.
I figured Putin would just want to buy a few from Kim to keep him an ally, but would never rely on him like that. Perhaps I'm just not thinking opportunistically enough.
14th, 2024. It's been repeated ad nauseum by Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister, by Maria Zakharova, the spokeswoman for the foreign ministry, by Dmitry Peskov.
Yeah, we should just be listening to Russia. When I hear people like that, I just cannot.
The spokesman for Vladimir Putin, the Medvedev.
Yeah, Medvedev, we should listen to him, definitely.
The former president of Russia. And right now, Russia has said, look, the people in Crimea and Zaporizhia, Kherson, Donetsk, and Luhansk voted to join Russia.
What? The people in Zaporizhia voted to join Russia?
The people voted in Crimea and Zaporizhia. Russia has said, look, the people in Crimea and Zaporizhia, Kherson, Donetsk, and Luhansk.
In Kherson, people voted to join Russia? That's news to me. I have to know. They even made a bogus vote. Okay. On the 27th of September, Russian officials claimed that Zaporizhia Oblast referendum passed with 93.111% of voters in favor of joining the Russian Federation. Aha, yeah, I believe that. I so believe that. Let's see the Kherson one. Aha, yeah, of course. My goodness, those Russian shells. Oh yeah, 87% of people in Kherson. Oh my God. Of course he did. Occupied regions of Ukraine vote to join Russia in staged referendums because, of course. Look at this gun. That's so pathetic.
Voted to join Russia. The people in Crimea did it in 2015. Or in 2014, I take that back. And the people in the other 4 oblasts did it in September 2022. They've all
what the fuck
voted to become part of the Russian Federation. They are now, through the vote of the legislature in Russia, the Duma, they are now officially part of the Russian Federation. So those states are not going to be returned to Ukraine in any...
What do you mean states? Neither Russia or Ukraine has states. What the fuck is this language? What is... How was it that referendum where they chose between join Russia or become independent from Ukraine? Kharkiv and Zaporizhia, Ukraine, and Moscow, 4 Russian-occupied regions of Ukraine, appeared to vote overwhelmingly in favor of joining the Russian Federation, according to Russian state media, because we can trust the Russian state media. Ukraine and its international partners have dismissed the highly controversial referendums as shams and a violation of international law. The Russian-run referendum votes took place over 5 days, from September 23rd through September 27th, despite international outrage. The referendums are widely viewed as an initial Kremlin move towards formal Russian annexation of the territories, even as the exact timetable remains unclear. Results reportedly Tuesday by Russian state media alleged showed over 98% voting in favor of the measure in the self-proclaimed Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, while 93 voted for it in Zaporizhia region and 87 in the Kherson region. Wow. Brilliant.
Form, fashion. There's no land deal. There's no offer to, we'll give you this for that. None of that's going to
Good night, Greater Rank.
happen because it is legally part of Russia. In the same sense that...
Yeah, Russia just annexed territory and declared it legally its. So I guess now it's legally its. And look at the referendum. It proves it. Look at the referendum.
Couldn't show up in Alaska and say, "Hey, Vladimir, I'll give you Alaska in exchange for giving back the Donbass." Not going to happen. That's number one. Number two, that there is absolutely no more NATO activity inside Ukraine, and Ukraine is never going to be part of NATO. Now, these are two demands that Russia will not compromise on. And the West, the notion that the West is going to send peacekeeping forces into Ukraine is a suicide mission.
Why?
Russians will kill them.
What? That would be breaking... What? That would just be breaking peace. They would be coming as a peacekeeping mission under a peace deal. If Russia attacked and killed them, they would be breaking a peace agreement and attacking Europe as a whole directly. Are you stupid?
They view that as a threat. Russia's already facing two Aegis batteries, one in Romania, one in Poland. The Aegis missile system normally is on a destroyer, but this time they took them off the ships.
How was this guy in CIA? I have no clue. Also, those Aegis systems are primarily interception systems, which I'm pretty sure this Aegis system was not even installed against Russia. It was installed against different countries that were a threat to the US. Yeah, I just said the same. An Entropy fan, and that is interceptive. Yeah, it's not even. It wasn't even installed against Russia to begin with.
Installed them on land, and the problem with them is that they are capable of firing a Tomahawk cruise missile, which can carry a nuclear warhead. So
yes, Poland just has.
Essentially, Russia is now looking at having nuclear-capable warheads on its border, one in Poland, one in Romania.
Yeah, of course. Maybe. Listen to. Okay, hear me out. Maybe Russia should conduct a special military operation in Poland if that's the case.
That's what Russia's trying to get rid of, trying to disarm, push it.
How? How is Russia planning to disarm it in Poland?
Back in the same
How?
way that we would react very strongly if Russia decided to deploy.
Why will Russia invade Poland? Is that it?
Nuclear missiles to Venezuela, Mexico, or Cuba. We wouldn't tolerate that for a minute either. But
what the fuck are you talking about? Russia's not doing any moves against Poland, so I guess Russia is tolerating it. It is no choice. What is Russia gonna do? What do you mean?
To think we can get away with this. So
what?
There's not going to be a negotiated peace deal by December. Ain't going to happen.
Let's be honest, most coffee gives you a quick hit that leaves you feeling jittery, foggy, reaching for another cup before lunch. But what if your coffee actually did something for your health? Rejuvenate Coffee, who want to show up with focus and strength every single day. If you care about and protect your future, check out Rejuvenate. I'll get you out of here on this, Larry, about the tariffs. President Trump, in the cabinet meeting yesterday, said,
yeah, you're not gonna get away with this, Poland. You with your systems. You're not gonna get away with this, Polish people.
Zelensky's not been a good guy either. He plays that game. And then he said, willing to put tariffs against Ukraine in order to get them back to the table and make sure that they're involved in this peace process. Would tariffs work against Ukraine? As you pointed out, the population is down to 28 million. They're massively indebted to the IMF. The country is on its last legs as it stands. What would tariffs do?
Nothing. I mean, Donald Trump has it fully in his power. All he has to do is stop sending them money, stop sending them weapons, withdraw the CIA and military advisors that are in country, and also tell Zelensky that he's not going to have a visa to the United States to enjoy his property in Vero Beach. The whole notion.
Yeah, that's Zelensky's biggest concern, his property in the United States.
That Trump has any leverage with using tariffs or sanctions against Russia, which he's also threatened to do. It's just...
Yeah, the United States is just a weak country that has no leverage over Russia because, I guess the United States being the most powerful country in the world is just a myth. And in reality, Russia is the shadow most powerful country in the world. Thank you.
It's laughable. What we've learned in the course of the last week, and this is why I wrote the article about NATO is losing against BRICS dramatically. All of the major countries in NATO that are the major economies have a debt to GDP ratio of at least 100% or greater. What that means is every day, if you make $100, but you're spending $125, that means you're $25 in the hole. Now do that every day. Well, the next day you're $50 in the hole. Next day you're 75. Next day you're 100. And then it keeps growing. That's the United States. We're a $125 to 100 to 100 debt to GDP ratio. England is a little over 100 to 100. It's 1 to 1. France is 110. What this means is they're spending more money than they can take in. Whereas there is not a single country in BRICS, none of the BRICS nations have a debt to GDP ratio that's lopsided. Instead, in Russia, it's 19%.
Oh yeah, Russia's economy, Russia's booming economy. Yes, please, Larry, tell us about Russia's booming economy. Fuck me. Really? Oh my gosh. God help me.
Yeah, 19%.
God help me.
I had no idea that.
Yeah.
I mean, every BRICS nation is poor, or every NATO nation is poor.
Yes.
And no BRICS nations are?
No.
Let that... I want to hear that again. I want to hear that again. I want to hear that again. All NATO countries are poor, and no BRICS countries are
poor.
Yes.
I mean, every BRICS nation is poor, or every NATO nation is poor.
Yes.
And no BRICS nations are?
No.
Okay. Carry on. What the fuck is this? What the fuck? Oh my god. This is a sketch. This is a comedy show. I am now convinced that this is a comedy show. This cannot be serious. This cannot be serious. 2.74 million subscribers, 326,000 views. All NATO countries are poor. None of the BRIC countries are. Oh my God. Brazil, famous for being rich. Oh my goodness. See, Conrad? Now you're happy. You're happy now that I'm watching this, aren't you? Now you're giddy about me watching this shit, aren't you?
And no, yeah, it is. And the other aspect to it.
That is shocking. Yeah, it is. It is so shocking. I am so shocked. No, they don't have a great economy. Okay, they are suffering quite a bit, and the Russian economy is actually suffering quite a bit. Jesus. If Russia admitted it, then I assume we can trust Russia at least on this, right? If Russia itself admits that its economy is suffering.
Is when you look at the economic growth, right now the average economic growth for BRICS, all the BRICS countries combined, 3.6, 3.7%. For NATO,
yeah, like North Korea, also famously rich. It also has a growth of 3% or something right now, thanks to the war. Rich.
About 1.2%. So, here's NATO making all these big promises about, boy, we're going to spend all this money.
I mean, you're talking about percentages, but what sort of... It also is a matter of what sort of budgets, etc. What sort of... How big economies are you talking about?
We're going to pay for these weapons, and they're broke.
They're broke! NATO is broke. Poland is broke. Because Poland is nearing 5% expenditure on the army. I guess Poland is also one of those broke countries. This is a classic move in Poland by libs. Don't have anything to bash. That. We will go bankrupt.
United Kingdom.
This person is just spewing fallacies. Economic growth doesn't equal rich. In fact, impoverished countries generally have larger economic growth because they are still industrializing in many areas.
Kingdom and France are both talking about having to go to the IMF for bailout loans.
I wanna check something out real quick. List of BRICS countries. Every single one. Let's see, BRICS. I wanna see all of the members. Okay, let's see all the members. Russia, Brazil, China, India, South Africa, Brazil. Member states. Ethiopia. Famously rich country of Ethiopia. There was supposed to be someone joining, wasn't there? I suppose so. My goodness.
Because they are in such desperate economic straits.
Yeah.
single BRICS country is in the same position. So, and then just went over their sort of interesting tariff note on, four key examples. One, U.S. shipments of propane to China.
Propane! Oh, wow. King of the hill.
At zero. They've dropped off the table in 2025. It used to be a $4 billion industry.
Damn, we used to ship so much propane. We used to sell so much propane and propane accessories. There you go, Estelle. Oh my goodness.
U.S. soybeans, which used to be we were a major supplier to China. China's cut that off. It's now buying from Brazil. Coffee.
Gay? I sell propane.
The coffee that the United States imports from Brazil, it's going to cost us a lot more because Brazil's selling it all to China now. And then yesterday you heard Donald Trump talking about, we're going to have 600,000 visas for all these Chinese students to come back. Gee, why are they doing that? Because the number of American colleges that depended upon Chinese students who paid full freight coming into the country, they're not coming anymore. And Trump has hit too late. What he was reacting to pressure he's received from all these U.S. collegiate and colleges and universities. So the whole tariff thing is backfiring on Trump. And then India is just told.
I mean, the tariff thing is just stupid, but that's neither here nor there.
Trump to go pound sand, that no, we're not going to stop buying Russian oil. We're going to buy more. So this, the Trump foreign policy on this is just becoming a disaster.
Well, in fact, I looked this up because recently BRICS.
I looked this up. Yeah. I looked this up.
A conference and said that BRICS.
That BRICS is richer than the entire West combined, and that is why ruble is the world currency right now, isn't it?
Countries are responsible for upwards of 45% of global GDP.
Correct.
But when you compare that to NATO countries, it's 30% or less.
Correct.
So it's clear who the heavy hitters are here. And it's not us. And unless we realize that and start playing nice with others, we're going to...
Fuck me.
Continue to circle the drain. Is that the point that you're making?
Oh my God.
Absolutely. Trump has embarked on a policy of bullying and threatening, and other countries are reacting to that as you would. You and Clayton wouldn't have friends that are constantly calling you names, threatening you.
Those just might be the most stupid people I ever laid my eyes on. You're welcome. You're welcome for the content.
Your family. Hey, I'm going to break you. I'm going to bankrupt. And then, hey, let's get together for dinner. You go, what?
Right.
You owe me an apology for starters. So, we've threatened India, we've threatened China, we threatened Brazil, we've even threatened Switzerland. I had an interview with a former member. He's a Swiss citizen, but he's a member of the German army, and he was saying, he said, here Swiss thought we were in pretty good shape with the United States, and Trump's hitting us with tariffs. So it is driving a wedge.
I mean, to be fair, Trump hit even the penguins with the tariffs. So,
with other countries that should be our allies, should be our friends, but instead they're turning to BRICS because BRICS doesn't bully.
Yeah, I've been watching this BRICS disaster unfold for a couple of years now, and it's just getting worse. I would encourage everyone to go over to Sonar 21 and read Larry's great piece on NATO and the collapse of NATO. And this rise of BRICS right now. Everyone should be paying attention to this. I really sincerely hope people pay attention to it. Larry, great to see you as always. Thank you so much.
That was great. That was the best. That was the content for tonight. I need this channel but in Polish. You mean redacted? I am sure you will find it. I'm gonna strive. I'm gonna strive to find a channel like this, but in Polish for you. Okay, I'm gonna find it. If I find you a channel like this, will you donate to me? All right. That's it. Thank you. I think we've done enough for tonight, don't you? Do you feel like we should continue, or do you feel like I should rest a bit? Have I earned my rest with this one? With this brilliant segment? Ah. Oh. These people are redacted, well, except Larry, who's grifting because he's lost the real job ages ago and hasn't found another since. Oi. Alright, I guess I'm gonna rest now, right? I'm gonna rest now. I'm gonna see you soon. We're probably gonna do a gaming thing, okay? We're gonna do a gaming stream at some point. I'll see you. I like Larry. He's a funny guy. Said in a Trump voice. I said in a Trump voice. Okay, I'm gonna raid you into somebody. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. Okay. Riverboat Jack. I guess. There you go. See you. I'm gonna see you around. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. No bye-bye from you? Okay then. Very sad. No? Oh, bye-bye then.